All right. Welcome to the Indie Corner After Dark. We're not only talking about all things independent comics, but everything comics. I'm Mikey.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Seamus.
And today, people are back at it again with another episode of Indie Corner After Dark, episode 15. Yes, we're at 15. I hope.
It says
And
14 in my corner, but I don't know if that's right.
that's true. Yeah, well, I think it's 15. It's not, and that is not right. And I'll fix that later. But it's 15 right now. And yeah, we're going to be doing our review for the most highly anticipated movie of the year. Probably the best. Maybe the best animated movie ever made. Maybe the best comic movie ever made. Maybe the best Spider-Man movie ever made. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is starring a bunch of people: Shameik Moore, Hailey Steinfeld, Jake Johnson, Jason Schwartzman, and it's going to be and it's produced and written by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And I don't really have the directors' names off the top of my head, but there's 3 directors on this project. So yeah, people, I'm very excited. Obviously, you know me, Miles Stan. Obviously, because been Miles fan since I was 12 years old. Love this character. Love the first movie, and obviously, I'm campaigning myself to be Miles. # Mikey for Miles. Obviously, you can see that in the. Don't laugh, bro. It's gonna happen.
Don't laugh at me, bro. Come on, man. I need this.
The Copium here is right next to Spectacular Spider-Man fans after this movie.
But yeah, I'm excited. Thanks, Rebecca, Seamus, and Fletcher for joining me on this. Obviously, it's gonna be a good discussion. And yeah, we'll just get right into it. So, obviously, I always gotta open it up with the first impression. So, what was everyone's thoughts going into the movie? Obviously, what are your thoughts on the first movie, and what were your expectations going forward with Across the Spider-Verse coming out?
So probably like everyone here, I was a big fan of the first movie, so I was super excited for this to come out. I had no doubts really that it was going to be a good movie, or at the very, very least, visually interesting. So I was super excited for it. Yeah.
Okay. James?
The first one is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hyped for this one, of course. But I think this is just with anything. Anytime they announce that it's going to be part 1 of 2, I immediately am kind of so I'm not really going to be watching the movie now. I'm going to be watching the first half of the movie now, and then I'm going to get to watch the full movie in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels a little not kind of like they slighted me a little. I was promised a full movie, but instead I got the first half of a full movie, which not to say that it wouldn't be hype, but it just is. So when I was coming into it, I was like, it's gonna be good, but I am gonna leave, half the movie and not not an ending. So,
all right. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Fletcher, I don't know if you want to say anything. I know you're having a little technical difficulties, but
yeah, I'll try my best. But first impressions going in, I already knew it was going to end on a cliffhanger because, when it was first announced, it was known as Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. So automatically, you knew that we were going to end with a cliffhanger, and pretty much the audience's reaction at the end there were a lot of "What? Wait, that's it?" and then a lot of boos, just for reasons. But overall, first impressions. Yeah, this is definitely up there. Best Spider-Man movie, perhaps. I mean, there are so many great elements about this. Oh, don't want to get into spoilers yet, but just the best way I could say this to people watching is just go watch the movie. For the love of God, just go watch it.
All right. So, all right, for me, I mean, I've already stated I'm a big fan of Miles Morales. It's my favorite version of Spider-Man. Loved the first one. That's probably my favorite Spider movie ever. That movie is pretty much groundbreaking, not just in terms of just storytelling and just performances, but in terms of animation. It set the bar for animation for the next decade. So I was just Into the Spider-Verse was great, but when they announced that originally it was going to be Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, and having it split in half, I was like, I don't know, because Seamus, I was like, I'm a little iffy on 2-parters, so I didn't know how it was gonna go down. But I went with high hopes and high praises, and I was pretty optimistic as well. So yeah. I was pretty much on board from day one, and I was gonna see it, in the theaters. I wasn't gonna sell the high seas to watch this one, of course. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, if that's it, I guess we'll just go into the next part of the slide and obviously people, if you don't really know, this is a spoiler review, but like the first bit is going to be a little non-spoilery, so you're safe for now until I give the warning. So, but yeah, so obviously, yeah, we'll just talk about the big thing about the movies, the art direction and the animation. I mean, I'll just start off by saying that like I don't really think this is me just, coming out of the theater with, the hype goggles. But, I mean, it's pretty much fair that everyone could say this is probably the best looking animated movie I think I've ever seen. Because not only did they, like, level themselves up from the first movie, which I thought was pretty much impossible, but they ended up, again, like, just setting the stage for all these other studios to step the hell up, because there was some shit in this movie that I've never even seen before in terms of like the styles that were used, the style that are implemented, the choices that were made in terms of like, even to the small detail of like how characters' frame rates were, is just like mind blowing to me. So I'll start this off. So what did y'all think about the animation, just in general? Let's go first.
Well, this movie starts off with Gwen Stacy, and immediately you can see they're doing like in her universe, in particular, a different style of animation. Like everything looks painted. It's very reminiscent of how her comics were, or at least how the covers for those comics were. This movie is incredibly stylistically rich. It's just like a feast for your eyes, and at some points it's almost overwhelming in a way because there's so much going on and there's so much detail. Like you would have to go frame by frame to dissect it all.
That's true.
Yeah, it's just really impressive. It's a feat in animation, building off of what they did in the first one, and it's incredible.
Okay, Seamus, what do you think, bro?
This shit knocked my socks off. This was like, I was half the time I was shocked that they even got it to look like that. You know what I mean? Which is kind of insane for an animated movie like this. I think I was like especially impressed with how Hobie Brown looked constantly.
Dude, he was.
I heard, and I don't know how true this is, but he took like 3 years alone to animate.
I heard it was 3. It took them 3 years to get the animation down for Hobie, just for Hobie. I'm like, it paid off because it looked incredible, and I think that I don't know, it was just so like insanely mind blowing that I was like, I just I just didn't know what I was seeing half the time, and I was in shock at how well everything looked all the time. There was not like a bad shot in this movie. There was not a bad looking piece of animation in this movie. It was like the tightest 2.5 hours of animation I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think every animator and artist who worked on this movie absolutely deserves their flowers. Another thing I saw I want to shout out to is the kid, a 14-year-old who did Lego videos before this, did the Lego segment for this movie, which is a really cool opportunity for them.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, and just to rewind the tape a little bit, I think I kind of like, even before seeing Hobie and everything, like shout out to going into Gwen's Earth, because again, I love the fact that they used that watercolored style from her original debut series. Like I was like, that already like punched me in the face. But the moment you see like stuff like Mumbattan, and then which we'll talk about with Spider-Man India, and like obviously seeing Spider-Punk, I was like, this is just like, what? Like, what is happening? Like again, like Rex said, it's very overwhelming at times because like it's just so much going on, and it's everything's so different and unique and distinct. They're just like, I don't know if your mind could process it just with like one showing. Probably have to rewatch the movie again just to like take it all in. But yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, but Fletcher, yeah, what do you think of the animation stuff in this film?
Well, after the film was finished, I looked to the person I took to see the film, and I said, Disney is dead, because this is a top tier animation, because so many styles. I mean, I think well, Into the Spider-Verse already started this movement of sort of having these highly stylized animation. But this Across the Spider-Verse pretty much perfects it even further with all the different styles. I mean, so many. I mean, I don't want to get. I can't talk any further without getting into spoilers, which is, it's so hard. Just again, watch the movie, feast for your eyes. Best 2.5 hours you'll ever see.
For sure. But well, it's. I mean, we're probably gonna talk more about it, of course, when we get into the nitty gritty stuff. But yeah, any other thoughts on the animation, art direction, anything like that? Nope, nada. All right, so quickly we'll just talk about I think one of the best strong suits about this movie, not only is it well animated and it's very impressively animated, but I think the writing and the storytelling is just phenomenal, especially due to like the various themes that are introduced throughout the course of the story. Oh, hold up. Ooh. All right, so yeah, I didn't tell you all this. I got like a surprise guest with me. So you don't know this person, but he's as big as a Miles Morales fan as me. So I had to get him on here. It's my boy Tony. Say hello to Tony, everybody.
Hi, Tony.
Hey,
Tony, thank you so much, bro, for coming in super last minute. Cause I was like, I need another Miles head like myself on this fucking review.
Yeah.
So thanks, man. I really appreciate it. But yeah, well, so since Tony's here, Tony, real quick, just what were your expectations going into the movie? Before checking it out.
I didn't really set any like high expectations because it was like, well, I did have really like high expectations for it, especially since like for the first Miles Morales movie that came out, and I thought it was gonna be like, this epic like spider battle between like all the like Spider-Man against Miles Morales, between like how he views like how he saves people and how like different Spider-Man saves like, and like they all have different views on what Spider-Man's supposed to be. But when I went in there and saw it, and I was just and saw how it played out, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be like a big battle between like 29 and like Miles Morales, and how like Spider-Man should be, and how like the Spider-Verse is supposed to be played out. Yeah.
Pretty much so. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much I guess how everyone was going into it. Pretty much, it's just just focusing on the core of Spider-Man, not just how Miles interprets it, but how every other Spider-Man interprets that is important. But yeah. So now you're here. I mean, we're just talking about just the writing and the storytelling and just all that. That's where we were at before. But because I was saying before, it so many themes and stuff is, and it worried me a little bit because I was like, there's so many themes involving like dealing with friendships and relationships and authority figures involving parents and the ideas of like stepping out of your shell and growing up. Like I was worried that like so many themes are jumbled here. It might kind of make it hard to follow, but like it was the way they wrote it. It was very well paced, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I was like, and we'll get more to it when we talk about the characters and stuff. But yeah, no, I thought this movie was also very, very well written and very emotionally heavy in terms of the stuff that Miles goes through throughout the course of the film. But I mean, anyone wants to chime in on the writing and all? Or?
Sure. So, like you were saying, I think the writing for this is very good. Like you said, a lot of moving parts in this movie, a lot of different themes and characters they have to juggle. I think they handled everything pretty well. The only thing I have to say, as far as like nitpicks, and it's not even a nitpick really, because like I said, this movie is really well written, is this is a part one. So in some ways, I feel like the first Spider-Verse is more like narratively satisfying because it is the complete story. And this one, like I said, the writing's still strong, but we don't have the full story just yet. This is the middle part of it. So coming out of this movie, I'm wanting more. Like I can't wait for the next movie because I want to see how it concludes. That's true. But I think what is here is really strong.
Gotcha.
It really says something when people want more after watching a 2.5 hour long movie.
Yeah, and you know how I feel about long movies.
So that's really saying something.
Seamus, what do you think, man?
Same exact thing.
Yeah.
Like as it is a part one, but it is probably one of the strongest part ones ever put to film.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back in a way.
Yeah.
Which Phil Lord and Chris Miller said is like, this is our Empire Strikes Back, and you're like, yep, they did that, and they did it well.
Yeah, it's just like the problem was that like it feels like right at the part where you want to watch it the most, it's just like, all right, bye. We're done. See ya in like 9 months.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, like I like that, but like you also just told me to come back in 9 months for the rest, which because like the setup at the end is just, I think it's just the setup at the end is so cool, and then they're like, anyway.
We'll get to that shit. But yeah, I mean, overall, I guess we could all say that, like, yeah, the writing and everything was pretty good. I mean, Tony, I would ask you too, but like, you probably have the same thing that we've all been saying, that it's great and that it's super well written and all that. So we kind of took the words out of your mouth.
Yeah, it's like I said. I mean, like the way they ended it was really good. It was a really good cliffhanger the way they ended it. But I understand why it had to be split into 2 parts, because they didn't want to make it like a very long movie. So I can understand why.
I'm too afraid to give us an intermission on this one.
Yeah.
Be like Zack Snyder and give us intermissions.
Definitely, I would have preferred if this was just a 4-hour movie, and then they were like, "Hey, here's a like a 15-minute intermission halfway through."
Yeah,
I was just too thinking about it. A lot of this movie, most of this movie, really is set up for the next one. I think it's enjoyable setup. But when you think about what actually happens outside of like the last like half of it, I would say it's a lot of just introducing characters.
That's true. Yeah, and it's a lot of introducing characters, as well as just like being like a TikTok thread and just showcasing every single Spider-Man thing that they can reference. Which, like, I don't mind that, but like,
I'm not dissing that. It's enjoyable. I like the characters. It's just the setup when you think about it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, overall, yeah, I guess the writing phenomenal and all that. So, yeah, I guess it's about that time where people, if you are watching this right now, we're gonna go into spoilers. So yeah, you got 17 minutes of being safe. That's all you get. So
run.
So I'm gonna put the spoiler banner up so that you're aware when I put the chapters in to if you haven't seen the movie, which, like, if you haven't, like, what are you doing? Get off the couch, get off the TV, get off your phone, leave work, like, and go watch this movie, please. All right, so that now we're going to spoiler territory. So now we're gonna get into the nitty gritty, y'all. The nitty gritty. So obviously we're gonna do character stuff, character breakdown, and we're going to start obviously with the main character, our boy, our Lord and Savior. Not my Lord and Savior, as well as Tony's Lord and Savior, as well as maybe Seamus Lord. All of our Lord and Saviors. You know what? We'll all group it together. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about the main character, the boy, Miles Spider-Man, aka Miles Morales, played by my boy Malcolm Adekambi, my boy Raekwon the Chef, Shameik Moore, bro. Yo, Shameik, you stealing my thunder, bro. Come on, you're killing this shit, man. Like, it's just. Yo, I listen. I love Shameik's performance in the first one, clearly, but I don't know, something about this one where, like, he really stepped his game up in terms of given that emotional weight that Miles goes through in his performance as an actor, and like at the same time you could really tell that, like, he was having a lot of fun. Like you could tell, like, he was having so much fun, having, like, showcasing Miles grow throughout the course of this film. And yeah, man, it's good stuff. So I just wanted to make a nod on his performance. But yeah, Miles Morales, man, in this movie, it's just, dude, it again, just going through the writing and, like, again, showcasing all those themes. I love the fact that, like, at the start of the movie, you can kind of tell that Miles doesn't feel like he is, the one true Spider-Man of this world. Know what I mean? He feels more of just like, I'm just like the second generation, like the second generation, the second mantle being passed on to me. But throughout the course of this movie, and as well as the themes of, like, him trying to, he wants to go out in the world and, be his own person, be independent, grow up. And he ends up, from the beginning of the movie feeling, as just the second Spider-Man, but then at the end feel like, nah, man, fuck it, I'm Spider-Man. And that's how it's gonna be. So that's how I'm gonna start it off real quick. But I don't know who wants to chime in. I'll pick someone. Seamus, you chime in, bro. What are you thinking of Miles, bro?
I like that. I think that his character arc in this movie is, despite being only part 1, is like honestly a little better than the first Spider-Verse. I like it more because it's the first Spider-Verse is like, what if do I want to be Spider-Man? And then he decides to be Spider-Man. And this one's literally all about like, okay, but do I want to be Peter Parker Spider-Man, or do I want to be my own Spider-Man? And then it was kind of very funny how the whole like Spider Society thing was kind of like a meta commentary for everyone saying that Miles can't be Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And it was very funny how the whole movie was like, no, he can be Spider-Man, and he's allowed to be a cooler, less traumatic Spider-Man, and it's okay, guys. And that's why I think I really like this, like the narrative arc that they send him on in this movie, because to me that's just really funny to have a $300 million movie made just to be like, guys, he's Spider-Man. Sorry.
And that's the thing too. Like that's how better that was. I was thinking that when I was watching, I was like, yo, like all these Spider-Men telling that, like, especially like the reveal about what Miles like actually is in terms of how he plays in the Spider-Verse, which we'll get to when we do the third act portion. But like, yeah, it's just like they're those negative fans that are just like, oh, he's not Spider-Man, he's just Kid Arachnid. Or that's
Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and then this whole movie's like, no, he's Spider-Man. He's just not the same Spider-Man as Peter, and that's fine.
Hearing Kid Arachnid makes me cringe hard.
It kills me.
I mean, people that know me know how much I hate that. Right, Rebecca?
I'll still never get over that issue you have where every instance of Miles being Spider-Man was replaced with Kid Arachnid.
Yeah. So,
no, don't say that.
Story time. So, one of my friends who's the alum of the Students of S.H.I.E.L.D., as I think was it a Secret Santa gift, he got me a bunch of other stuff, but he basically got a Miles comic, I think that came out like a few years ago, and then somehow scratched off everything that said Spider-Man on it and just put Kid Arachnid, and even the panels too, and the bubbles. It irked me so much, but I still loved it because I like the fact that he took effort and time to do it. but yeah. What about, let's see, Tony? What were you thinking of Miles, man? As a fellow Miles head.
You know, I have to go off what that Seamus said. You know, like it's like in the first movie, it just goes off like how Miles is like, you know, comes into terms of like, I don't want to be Spider-Man, but you know, but like, how do I know when I'm ready to be Spider-Man? But he learns like, you know, like from like the other Spider people, it's just like, you know, you have to be your own Miles. It's not just like no one is going to force you to be it, but you know, you have to take he's like Peter said, you have to take the leap of faith. That's when you know you're ready to be Spider-Man. And then the second one, he comes into his own he makes it come to his own Spider-Man, and basically he is, and you know, and he just is just juggling life, and he gets the idea of like, you know, what being Spider-Man is like, you know, keeping his identity secret, you know, jumping from like school and to being a superhero. And he pretty much just becomes like, you know, like how you know, like Spider-Man is supposed to be this like really like self-sacrificing hero, and you know, like the other Spider-Man are telling him like, no, this isn't, and pretty much just goes like, you know, no, this is like, you know, this is how you're supposed to be Spider-Man. This is how you're supposed to be, like, you know, this hero, like Miguel tells him, like this algorithm he gives him. Sorry if I'm spoiling for everybody, but
we're in spoiler territory, man. Who cares?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. But, you know, that's like, this is how like Spider-Man is supposed to be, and he pretty much tells him, you weren't supposed to be Spider-Man in the first place. And he goes like, no, I am Spider-Man. This is who I'm supposed to be. I'm not going to let nobody die because it's some algorithm. He's coming in pretty much basically into his own hero. And that's what I kind of like about how he pretty much became his own Spider-Man.
And I like how you mentioned in the beginning, because that was some of my favorite parts, like when the movie started, when Miles's like stuff started. Like, well, first off, hearing my boy come swing through New York while freaking like Joaquim's playing in the background, hard. Second, I love the fact that like, now that he's, you know, trying to take on the role as Spider-Man, he's ending up learning about, you know, dealing with like the sacrificing part, where like, you know, he's trying to balance his school life, the life with his family, as well as being like, you know, Spider-Man, and obviously and having to juggle and deal with that. And that's what Peter went through the same thing, and there's a common thread between Spider-Man is that balance, like struggling to have that balance in his life. But yeah, it's I like how you mentioned that because I forgot about that for a second. Fletcher, do you have anything to say?
Well, pretty much everything I have just sums up to the one line based on everything. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. And just that line right there, that just sums up the entire arc with him. First film, how do I be Spider-Man? Second film, how do I be Spider-Man in my own way? It's just that line alone is just so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also like how during that scene, right after he says that, he does the leap of faith again and jumps off the train.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's cute.
Well, he takes a bigger leap of faith. Instead of falling off a building, he's falling off the elevator that goes straight to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Nueva York, shit. We'll talk about that when we get to 29. But I was like, wow.
I will say, I think I read this movie slightly differently. To me, I thought from the beginning, right off the bat, you could tell that Miles was more like matured, like coming into his own. I got the impression that he was already pretty confident about being a Spider-Man. I just think this movie, like you guys keep saying, is more about like fighting against people's expectations in doing your own thing despite that. Like, I never got the impression in this movie that he was really doing everything because others wanted to. I got the impression that he was always like sticking to his guns and standing up for his own way of doing things. And I really like that characterization for him.
No, I think it was less of like people are trying to tell him that, and more of like he is now Spider-Man. He's been Spider-Man for a year. He's confident in being Spider-Man, and now he is about to start facing a lot of the tragedies that Spider-Man have felt. And they're saying you have to go through those same tragedies. Like, you can't avoid them, you can't stop them. And Miles the whole time was like, no, I don't actually have to have my dad die, thank you. But I can actually, he's like, did you guys know you could save people? Like, if you tried harder, Fivehead?
Yeah. Like, they could, like, the idea of, like, just them, like, trying to, like, have both. Like, I mean, and they're just like, oh, no, it's not possible. But Miles kind of proves it, like, oh, no, it's possible. Like, it's you try hard enough, you believe.
Miles is a better man than I am, because if Miguel had said some of that shit to me, I would have just been like, well, maybe it's a you problem.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I mean, I want to just keep it moving, but we'll probably have more to say of Miles over the course of the podcast. But yeah, so I want to kind of move on to the next character, which is I guess love interest. I mean, I would say love interest, but Gwen Stacy, aka Spider-Woman, played by wifey Hailey Steinfeld. Okay, I'm gonna off rip, right? Last movie, even though I did like Spider-Gwen, and in the last one, I'm not really like, I don't really care much about the character at all, but I mean, the moment this movie starts, and she starts it. She's like in like the first like 20 minutes of the film. Seeing not just her world, which I thought was beautiful in terms of like, again, that watercolor, that more like purple hue aesthetic, I thought was really well done. But showcasing like, how she struggles being a spider person, and that's affected her life, especially the stuff with her dad, Captain George Stacey, who's played by Shea Wingham, and I was like, yo, that's Shea Wingham. That's kind of wild. And how like, and dealing like with that conflict of that that theme of the authority figure, which is again what Miles goes through with his own dad, and his parents. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting, and I was like, you know what, like, I think I care more about Spider-Gwen than I realized. Like, she's very interesting as a character and very well fleshed out. Yeah, so I'll start that off. Like, yeah, what did y'all think of like her? I guess her opening sequence. I don't know who wants to start off.
Oh, you can go, Rebecca. Yeah, say your piece. Say your piece. Rebecca, say your piece. You're gonna say.
Oh, because I'm the woman, I gotta talk about the girl character first.
Yeah, he stopped for a second. Like, oh, wait a minute.
I was like, go ahead, go on.
Let the prime blonde hair white girl talk.
All right, as the representative white woman, I like Gwen Stacy. She's not my favorite character in this movie, but I like that they took the time to like re-go through her backstory in depth versus like the very quick summary we had back in Into the Spider-Verse.
Mhm.
I like the arc she has, like reconciling with her father at the end of that. I like that she realizes she fucks up and wants to make it right at the end, and that's the setup for the next movie.
Mhm.
I don't really have too many thoughts about Gwen just yet. I feel like that's still like going through my brain right now.
And I kind of find it wild, especially like that. The main thing that grabbed me, like that kind of shocked me with the beginning of the movie, is when like her pops was when she reveals that she's Spider Woman, and and obviously in this universe, she's framed for not framed, but people believed that she's the one that killed Peter Parker, even though like he was the lizard in that universe. Yeah, when Captain George Stacy sees that she's Spider Woman is his daughter, he was about to arrest her anyway, and I was like, ooh, it's not a good look. That's not a good look. Captain Stacy is kind of fucked up. But then I love the arc that he takes later on when she comes back to her universe towards the end, and he's just like, yeah, listen, like even though I'm a cop, like I can't arrest my own daughter, which is why he ends up leaving the force for her. And I was like, wow, that's like it's touching a bit. It's confused a little bit.
I'll also add this, especially with Gwen in this movie. If you want to do a literary analysis, queer reading of this film, there is a lot of stuff about Spider-Man or Spider-Woman in this case being a like metaphor for acceptance, and there's like a lot of trans imagery in Gwen's story. Like she has the flag above her door, and at one point her dad's wearing a pin with a trans pride flag. I think that's really cool, especially since we're in Pride Month right now.
Word. We came out at the perfect time then. Shit. But yeah, and also just another thing about this movie with this character is the fact that, like the idea of like friendships and relationships with Miles, because obviously like I've said this before that like I didn't really like Gwen and Miles together in the comics, but the way they're doing it here, I'm like, you know what, like I'm kind of vibing with it, and plus it gives that Miles, that aspect of like being a teenager where a girl that you're interested in, kind of leaves you behind, and as well as like the other Spider people that he met in the last movie left him behind and didn't see him, and we'll reveal the reason later on. But like I thought that was really interesting, like that arc, that theme I thought was really well portrayed just between the two of them, and I was like, yeah, good shit. Yeah, what's it called? Tony or Fletcher, you have anything you want to say on Gwen?
Nothing of thought right now.
Okay. All right, Tony.
Well, in terms of like how Spider-Man was written in the first movie, it was kind of like a little small introduction to her, and yeah, especially since like when she first started out, she was just like just like another spider person from another universe that Miles meets. But in the second one, I think they do her justice in this movie than they do the second movie. In the second, yeah, especially in this part, especially we dive in a little bit, like Rebecca said, we just dive a little bit more into like her past, and we dive and explain, and she's going through like the same stuff like Miles went through, just like losing, having trouble juggling between like being Spider-Man and being just Gwen, just being regular Gwen Stacy. And I like in the introduction where she pretty much just battles up with Vulture from another dimension. She meets all these other spider people and rhythm and stuff. What happened?
I don't know. Internet stuff. All right, continue.
and she learns about this other algorithm and stuff. And when she goes and sees Miles, when she knows she's not supposed to, she's supposed to go after the spot and stuff. And they want it, and and she just wanted to see her best friend again because like that's her love interest, and that's her best friend. That's like her best friend from another dimension. So and it pretty much just goes she goes on the path of repentance near the end, where how much she's done wrong to Miles, she wants to make up for it at the end, and that's what kind of what at the end it leads up to what's going to lead up to part 2. So that's what I kind of like about that one. About this
and I do like the fact that when she gets involved with the Spider Society, that's kind of her finding a place to belong to, and after dealing with to follow with her father, and I really like that a lot. But yeah, overall, I liked Spider-Gwen. I liked her a lot. I got more than I thought I would. So I was like, but yeah. And also Hailey Steinfeld, wifey, great job. You always kill it. So I mean, it's pretty much that's pretty much the vibe there. All right, so we'll move on to next set of characters. This is when we're gonna go. This is actually a twofer because I want to put them on the same side because I think they're just as important in the movie as like the main characters. But Jefferson Davis and Rio Morales, played by Paperboy and Luna Lauren Valez. Sorry, Brian Tyree-Henry. He's Paperboy, bro. Like, come on.
Crediting him as Paperboy's hilarious.
Well, you call him Paperboy, so that's 2 months.
But yeah, man, I put these guys here. I want to talk about them third, just because I think their role is just as important, just in terms of how Miles' journey throughout the course of the movie, because they are the aspect of, like, him wanting to grow up, and the typical parent thing where they're not willing to accept that the little boy is growing into like a little man, and I really like that a lot, especially because Jefferson as a character, even in the last movie, had kind of like a disconnect with his son and wanted to have that that father-son connection with him, and he does in this movie. But again, with Miles, pretty much lying to his parents about who he actually is, and dealing with that balance of like his personal life and his superhero life, it messes that message. It starts to mess up his relationship with both of his parents. Even though Jefferson is more of the hard-stricken one, Rio is a little bit he's just as strict, but is a little more understanding. And yeah, I love those scenes with the guidance counselor in the beginning, and the fact that Miles has a B in Spanish, and typical immigrant parents when you speak a language fluently and they don't accept the fact that you are failing that language that you're studying, if it's hilarious. But also just them just being like, hey, like just stay in Brooklyn, like that's all you need to be here is in Brooklyn. You don't need Miles wants to go to Princeton and study dimensional travel to be with his friends and find his friends again, which obviously they don't know that, but the underlying meaning. But yeah, and the party, I love the party where Miles again is failing to meet his responsibilities due to his superhero life and ends up embarrassing his dad in front of the entire block. Like, I was like, oof. And yeah, it's good stuff. And also when Gwen shows up, the supposed girlfriend, which has apparently been Miles, that's where Miles is spending most of his days, his absences with a girl, and that aspect of it, just the parenting. I loved it a lot, and I thought Brian and Luna Lauren Valez did a really good job, especially Rio. Like, there's a lot of Rio in this that I thought played off really well, and Seamus and Tony probably know that, like, I was really worried that, like, please don't kill her, like, don't do that, like, don't do what they did in the Ultimate Comics and just kill Rio Morales for no reason.
It was such a stupid death in the comics too.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yes, it was Venom at the hospital, and I was like, that death felt like a canon event that 2099 wants to happen. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like it was like a story beat. It felt like it was a required thing for Spider-Man to go through, that he has to have someone die or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I want Rio to be in every movie, I think, from now on.
Yeah.
Rio and Paperboy gotta be in every movie.
They have to. Every
Spider-Verse movie, even if it's a cameo, I don't care.
Mm-hmm. No, it's honestly, I feel like they could, if they wanted to do it in live action, they could just put them in the MCU.
Yeah. No one cares about Eternals anyway. Brian Tyree-Henry is not coming back for Eternals. Who cares?
He was in that?
Yeah. He was.
He was an important character in that.
I barely remember that movie.
You don't need to remember that movie.
No, you don't have to at all. That movie's an L.
Yeah.
But, who wants to pitch in on the loving parents here? Anyone? Wow, tough crowd, huh?
That's 5 months.
I was gonna give other people a chance to talk, but since everyone wants to be quiet, like you said, they get a lot more attention in this movie than they did the last. I like that they're trying to be understanding of Miles, even though they are still like, concerned parents.
Mhm.
And I really like that part where his mom's like, let us know what's going on, but like we'll still be there to support you no matter what, that kind of stuff,
Yeah, and that's the deal with like most parents. Is like, yeah, like you can have like helicopter parents like these, but they still care about you and they'll trust every decision you make, hopefully. So it was really real. Like a lot of the family stuff felt super real, and I really feel like anyone who has parents similar to these could really relate to it. Like myself, I could relate to it. So like, yeah, like it's good writing and good performances, people. It was so good. I loved it. Oh God, but anyone else has anything to say? We're gonna talk more about Jefferson, obviously, in a bit, but later. But yeah, I loved it, and I also love the banner when Miles is talking to Jeff as Spider-Man, and then alluding to like just want to get more tea on like what his dad thinks of him. I thought that was amazing. But yeah, no more thoughts. All right, before we move on. All right, so let's move on. We'll move on to the next character, and yeah, obviously I'm not gonna say he's not the main villain. I say he's just an antagonist, but Miguel, Spider-Man 2099, aka Miguel O'Hara, played by Oscar Isaac Hernandez Estrada. Let's go. Okay, I'm not. I like 2099 in the comics. I'm not like the biggest fan of him, but I was very curious to see what Oscar Isaac was going to do, and the fact that listen, Oscar Isaac out here being 2099, out here being Moon Knight. Let's go, get more work, King. I love him. He's great. but he's just I really is this Miguel in the comics? Not really, but I'm not mad at it. I think it worked.
Yeah, I was gonna say like who's a big comic Miguel fan though? Like we're all fans of how he looks and like his concept, but like when you actually read a 2099 book, you're kind of like,
well, it's peak 90s edginess.
That's true.
Yeah,
even the newer ones are still like a little like. And that's why I was like, oh, he has a. I'm glad they gave him like more of a character in this, even though I feel like he wasn't used as much as maybe I wanted him to be. But again, it's like, but that's like a problem that I had, and it's only due to it being a part one. Like, I'm gonna get more of him in part two. I'm probably gonna get more of his character in part two. But you know what I mean? Like him and Peter B, I think really suffered it being a part one of this movie, where it was just like, hey, they're here. That's it. See ya.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do say that like from what we got, I love the fact that his aspect of his type of Spider-Man is like he's just dark, which is just like, and he's too dark, he's just a dark Spider-Man, and I kind of love that.
Yeah.
And
he was in the production he was called the Spider-Man without a sense of humor. So
which again is canonical to Spider-Man. Most Spider-Mans have a sense of humor, and it was I
think it was funny how Miguel is like actual 90s Marvel, and Ben Reilly was like joke 90s Marvel about how you remember 90s Marvel being, but this is probably closer to how it actually was.
Dude, Ben Reilly fans on Twitter were hurting.
They were hurting for no reason, dude. I saw it because they were like, if you are a fan of Ben Reilly, you should be mad at this adaptation. And you're like, okay, but they're not adapting Ben Reilly now after all the character development. They're adapting Ben Reilly when he was introduced, which sucked. And if you said it didn't suck, then you don't like Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, at least this version's not the fake one that we've been following the whole time.
Yeah,
unlike Ben Reilly.
Peter B. Yeah, Peter B wasn't Peter B. He was a clone in the last movie.
Oh,
pretty much.
Oh God, no.
Well, what would have been?
No, go ahead, Fletcher. Go ahead.
You know what? I will admit, it still would have been really funny if the first scene. Well, this might have really broken his character, but I really wish there was a scene where Miguel was still arguing with Spider-Man from Earth 67, or at least have a brief little hint of that.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been really funny.
Oh man, but here's the thing, like, I do love the vibe and the tone they set, like especially like from his design, because obviously like they tweaked the design from the 2099 costume. I think this actually like this one a lot I think this one I like this one a lot more than the one in the comics. It's either like the way they do the symbol and all that stuff. It's so cool. He's like the fact that he's just stocky and huge. He's just dark. He's badass. And also the fact that they didn't forget that, like, yeah, he's also has fangs and paralyzes people.
Yeah.
I was telling Fletcher this the other day. I completely forgot about the fact he was a vampire.
The friends I went with were like, "Is he like actually a vampire?" And I was like, "No,
No.
he's not actually I was like, "You know how spiders have fangs that paralyze people? Yeah, that's it." And they were like, "Oh, I forgot spiders had fangs that paralyze people." I was like,
well, not all of them. Well, not all of them paralyzed people. I mean,
Miguel
some,
does.
but
Yes,
Miguel does.
yeah,
He was
some.
2099.
Yeah, the 2099 spider does.
Yeah. Which could explain why he's so ripped in this film.
He's massive. He's just sturdy in this movie, like for no reason. Like, he's just,
Yeah, he's really buff. He's completely.
But yeah, it's just it's dope. It's dope shit, and I love and my favorite thing about it is like even though he's the one that started the whole Spider Society to like keep the multiverse intact, but also like he gets annoyed by a lot of the Spider people that are involved. Like I remember like when he started speaking Spanish to Miles, I found this out like I think in another video or I think on Twitter. Like when he starts speaking Spanish back, he looks kind of annoyed. He heard that he said like apparently like it's translated to like you fucking idiots like in English, and I was like, that's hilarious. But yeah, no, I love the like the whole reveal, like how he, even though like he seems like he's the good guy, but he kind of teeters on being like making like bad guy decisions, and again because he's too dark. But again, it's a part of his tragic backstory, which we'll learn throughout the course of the movie. But yeah,
can we talk about how he stole his backstory from Wanda from Multiverse of Madness?
Did he?
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he went to another dimension and raised someone else's kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And like Wanda, I'm not unconvinced that he didn't kill that other Spider-Man to have a good life. That's more of a theory.
But yeah, even though they changed Miguel drastically, I loved it a lot. Like I thought he was a good antagonist that obviously gonna be fleshed more. We're gonna see more of in the next movie. But again, like Seamus says, it suffers from being a two-parter. But again, it's all this this being the intro to this version of his character, and I'm very excited to see how that's gonna set up later. But Tony, you have any thoughts on 2099? No, you haven't spoken yet.
I haven't really gotten any huge thoughts on 2099 because I'm not a big 2099 fan because they made him they made Miguel into like this sort of like I know he's supposed to be an asshole, but like and he has like does like these like and he has this like in the movie they made him sort of like like an I could say like anti-villain stuff, anti-villain decisions, and he also like the way they introduced him as he's like coming down this elevator, he's like all depressed and brewy, and like he just looks like he's like so tired and like done, and like
he's done.
Yeah, he's like experiencing this stuff from like all the other Spider-Mans, and like and like he tries to do the same thing as he tried to do the same thing as like having a good life, and but that messed up the multiverse. That messed up the multiverse and stuff, and it caused that timeline where he had his daughter and stuff be erased. And I was just like, I feel bad for this dude.
You
but,
do you feel bad for him.
Yeah, I feel bad for this dude, but but that's kind of like a different situation of you messing with another universe. But
yeah, it's wild. Before we move on to the next characters, I want to just say like I love the way Nueva New York looked. It looks so cool. Like the fact that it's like the very like top part of the city where the skyscrapers are, very white, pristine, clean. Then when especially when Miles is being chased in Waver, New York by the Spider Society, it's just very like dark and like very cyberpunky and very gritty at the bottom, which I expected from knowing 29 in the comics. I loved that dichotomy. I thought it was very well portrayed. I was like, it's so cool. But yeah, 29 Miguel. Love him. I love Miguel, but what's up?
Oh, he also has a fantastic theme as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just, it's sick. But that's also something that I like about this movie. The soundtrack is incredible. The score and the soundtrack is just great. But yeah, all right. So we'll move on to the main villain of this one, and again, not gonna lie, surprised the shit out of me. Like I did not, because I expected this character just to be a little side villain, not like the big bad. And I was like, oh shit. But yeah, can't believe I'm saying this, but the Spot, who is Dr. Jason Ohrn, played by Jason Schwartzman. Gideon, bruh. What? Let's go.
I have one thing to say though. Don't throw bagels at him.
Yo, okay, off rip, Fletcher, we're gonna start off that way. Yo, the fact that they tied this man in as he's actually the guy who got hit with the bagel in the first one was hilarious. It was so funny.
The bagel effect.
The bagel effect, man. It's crazy, but also like it's also I thought it was like, you know, a very small detail that ended up playing really well. And yeah, like here's the thing with the Spot for me. I mean I'd known the Spot from the first time I ever knew about the Spot was from the 90s animated series. Yeah, I didn't really think. I mean he was cool. Like you can tell that he was powerful, but like I couldn't really take him seriously. And obviously here they kind of play that as well, where like he's kind of referred to as by Miles and by like, you know, Gwen and everyone as like, you know, the freak of the week type of villain. But the way they do the character development, especially in this scene where he discovers that like how powerful he actually is when he like, you know, he kicks his own ass and gets inside himself, that he goes from the freak of the week villain that's kind of the butt of the joke until like very terrifying towards the course of the film and like menacing, and how that like and how he ties into Miles being, you know, portrayed as like his own self-proclaimed nemesis. And it's just like, and like you don't really believe that when you see them in the beginning of the movie, but then you end up believing that shit towards the end very well. Like I'm just like, it's just, dude. And Jason Schwartzman, you could tell he was having a ton of fucking fun doing it. And yeah, man, I don't know who wants to start. Who wants to start off, man? It's good shit.
I mean,
Bagels.
yeah, it's kind of hard to like talk about him because it's just like such a weird thing to see him be this important and see his powers be done in like this way, which I think is like, probably the most interesting thing they've done in this movie is the way that they use his powers, and the way that he affects the story is so weird.
Yeah.
But it's probably one of the strongest parts of the movie, which is surprising to say, but it is.
Yeah. It's like I never thought I would see the Spot in a Spider-Man movie. Like what? Like, and the fact he's integral to the not just this one, but beyond the Spider-Verse too. Like what the hell? Like it's just like it's crazy to me. And it's but also like they kind of use him as a way to like, you know, show off some cameos and some hijinks too.
I was not expecting the Venomverse cameo where when the Spot's first discovering his powers, he goes into the universe where Venom takes place in. Well, Venom doesn't appear in this. It's just the Peggy Lou's character.
It's just
I kind of wish Venom appeared though.
I honestly was fine with him not though. Like it didn't bother.
I'm okay with him not because it's not his movie, but I just love to see Tom Hardy acting unhinged.
That's true. But yeah, I don't know. It's just also Seamus and or Tony, if you can like clarify this. Does a Spot ever run out of spots in the comics at all? Because like I thought it was like I wonder if that was a new thing for this.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's new because I don't think I remember him. I don't think he's ever been around long enough to run out of spots.
Okay.
Honestly, I think he's only ever been like one issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing I can remember, so I think this might be new.
Okay. Well, I liked it. I mean, granted, it was a way to progress the story along. But yeah, I just love the fact that like he was just the bagel guy that like worked with Dr. Octavius, and like it just like he just went into the collider by accident due to what happened in the last movie, and like it's just I just loved that a lot. But also like again, props to the animators, the character designers, because I love the fact that this man is literally just like his design is just like the beginnings of like a sketch with like the skeletal line with like the skeletal like sketch out and just with like black ink blot. I love it a lot. I was like, this is so creative, and like he gets more terrifying, especially when he's like when he's mostly black with the white spots and stuff and all tendril. It was nuts. I was like,
Yeah, you just know next movie that fight's gonna be insane.
oh, dude, yeah, but yeah, no, I really surprisingly enjoyed the Spot a lot, and I thought I thought it was just gonna be like a small side villain. I didn't think he was gonna be the big bad, so like that was surprised. But yeah, just it was really well done, and I love the fact that that tied into Gwen coming in because she had to track she had to track him, which is why she was actually there for, not actually to see Miles. Well, she used Miles as she went to see she went to spot on the spot as an excuse just to see Miles. But yeah, I thought Jake thought it was really good, and I really liked it a lot. So yeah, I mean, does anyone else say on the spot at all? No.
I can go. Yeah, because I will start off by saying the Spot was literally not supposed to be in this movie because the directors were about to. It was first when the directors one of the directors gave him the idea of the Spot being the villain. They originally said no to his idea, no to it being him being the big bad in this movie. But then they gave him. But when they redid his design they pretty much just gave him no, let's give them more than just him just zapping in places from other places from his spot from using his spots. Let's just give him the his powers to expand his powers a little bit more, just not just reappearing certain spots and certain spots. He can go into the multiverse and mess things up. I really like how they put the Lego Spider-Man in there. That was
hilarious.
What a cruel villain! How could he destroy a universe of Legos or Lego?
But yeah, all right. So we'll close off the spot on there. So we'll move on. All right. So yeah, this is actually a double one because I felt like I know everyone loves this character a lot. So this was everyone that came out of this movie was like, oh yeah, nah, gotta love Spider-Punk. But I put both of them in the same slide because I like them both equally. But so Spider-Man India, who is Pvitar, Prabhakar, and Spider-Punk, Hobie Brown, played by Karan, Soni, aka Dopinder, and Daniel Kaluyaa. Dude, okay, here's the thing, right? We talked a bit about Spider-Punk a little bit earlier, but I just want to get to. I don't know. I think even though I love Spider-Punk in this, I think I like Spider-Man India a little bit more. I don't know what it was. I think it was just because first off,
I know what it is. It's racism. You don't want Miles to be Spider-Man because he's black, right, Mikey?
No. Hey, you shut up. You stop it right there. Don't start that shit. I thought Spider-Man India was really interesting. I love the concept of Mumbattan, and especially because I was watching a behind-the-scenes thing with Phil Lord and Chris Miller explaining the character concept behind Mumbattan, and the fact that it's inspired by what if it was the height of the skyscrapers of New York, but in reverse. So most of the city kind of works instead of pointing upward, it goes downward and inward. So I mean, it's just I love that concept. I thought that was really cool, and yeah, I love the design for Spider-Man India because remember, people who don't know, Spider-Man India had his own comic book way back, I think the early 2000s, and it was not good. So I love the
spider suit with different pants.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I love the fact that they took more creative liberties with it and made it more kind of like Bollywood in a way. It was so cool the way it turned out. And just love the fact that and it's more representing the Indian culture with the music and the aesthetic and the colors, and it just I loved it a lot. The chai tea joke had me rolling because I think I thought it was hilarious, chai tea, the whole non-bread joke. I was like, yeah. I also do not like when people say chai tea. So I'm like, you're just saying tea twice. It's just I love that a lot. But here's the thing that got me in Spider-Man India, right? Blew my mind, all right, because I don't know what it was. I loved the way he web swings, where it's the gauntlet that comes off his wrist, and it's that string Indian toy that he kind of used to loop himself and whip himself around. I was and the way he was moving was very graceful, kind of in a more kind of like a Bollywood type of way in terms of Bollywood dancing. I thought it was so unique. I was like, I've never seen that before, and it looked incredible when we saw him swing around and just be super acrobatic and stuff. I thought it was awesome. Spider-Man India. Anyone want to say anything on Spider-Man India at all?
Yeah, I'm kind of in your camp, Mikey. I like both of these characters, but I think I like Spider-Man India a little bit better. I like that he's just like chilling, doesn't have any problems in his life. And it kind of goes along with Miles' story in that way, where like he doesn't have to be a tragic character to be a Spider-Man, you know?
And he's fun. Like he's just fun. Like he's just having fun being Spider-Man. It's awesome. But yeah, and we will go into it, but I do like his thing with like what we'll talk about, you know, the canon events. But yeah, like the stuff with like his version of MJ. I forget the name, but the fact that he has to keep it hidden because you don't want to. Yeah, what was it?
Gayatri, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, Gayatri. Yeah, like I have a girlfriend, but you know we keep her on the low because we don't want the parents finding out, obviously, because of traditions and all that. I thought it was so cool. But also like her father being integral to like his story. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, man, Spider-Man India, Dopinder, you killed it. You were so funny. I loved it. It was so much fun. I liked it a lot. But yeah, Spider-Punk, obviously we talked about it, but Hobie, like Daniel Kaluuyaa. This man was eating. This man was eating in this movie, man. So funny, like hilarious, and I'm happy that for myself because I'm a connoisseur of UK television, so I could understand like a lot of the like a good portion of the slang that he was talking about. But I love the fact again those creative details that they added to this movie every time because like, there was points where like, what the fuck is this man saying? And they had those little like captions, like a comic book as little like editor's notes to translate. I was like, that's so great. But I thought he was so fun. Again, the way he was animated, again, next level. I've never like the whole like gothic punk like print paper type of style that he had, and how he always because like you know he's very erratic and had that punk feel, so they always transition in color all the time, and it was very erratic. I love that a lot. His personality, but he's he's from the punk universe, so very anti-establishment, he's very like anti-establishment, don't give a fuck about the rules, does things his own way, like anarchy. I love that. And the fact that they played throughout the story too, and how like even though he was in the Spider Society, he wasn't fucking with the Spider Society. He didn't trust them because very anti-establishment. I love that a lot. And it's just, yeah, man. I don't know who wants to go talk about Spider-Punk.
I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah. What I really noticed about like Spider-Punk when he was introduced in like the when they meet everyone in Manhattan, and I like how like in the art style he is like when he's playing his like guitar and just like being crazy, the colors just like he like really shines and like the colors just like pop and like pretty much just go like pretty much he's just like all over the place. He's like showing all this like and he does like shows all these like different cool colors, and he also does the grayscale skills when he's like you know being like standing still or just being quiet. That's just quiet. So that's what I really like about the art style for like you know Spider-Punk. And I really do like his design in more here than I do in the comics. Since they gave him like a little bit more like you know a little bit more drip in him than they do in the comics, and I really like that. And I really like the design.
You think so? Cause I don't know. I really do like the Spider-Punk costume in the comics a lot, but like I don't know. Like I kind of wish they did it more but more accurate to like the comic book version, but like in terms of his appearance. But I'm not saying that this is bad or anything. No, this was still really awesome. But I don't know. That's just me. I still kind of like the original costume. But
yeah, I can understand that.
I will say this though. I don't know if it was me. But because for people who haven't like read the recent Spider-Punk series, read it because it's really good. It was one of my honorable mentions on our Best and Worst Comics of 2022 podcast. But I never really read like when I read Spider-Punk, I never really connected that he was British. I always read it as like an American. But like now hearing Daniel Kaluuya's performance in this, because it's punk. I mean, obviously he was gonna be a Brit, but like. I can only read him as Daniel Kaluuya in my head now, because like now it's cemented in my mind. Yeah, the whole punk world is British. Yeah, that's just me. But when I was interpreting it, but yeah. But what were y'all feeling about the little kind of, I guess, not really a love triangle, but it was just like Miles just being jealous that like Gwen knew another Black Spider-Man that wasn't other than him.
That's exactly what I said, and I was like, Miles is mad there's another Black Spider-Man, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's just I don't know what y'all feel about that. I thought that was like pretty funny, but like also I'm hearing like there's a controversy going around where like isn't Spider-Punk seems like he's like in his like early 20s and Gwen's like a teenager. So
well,
like,
yeah,
like,
I don't think it's actually good because I feel like it's all Miles created. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Like it's not actually a love triangle because Hobie does not have any kind of feeling like that towards Gwen. It's just Miles being insecure and being like, I haven't seen this girl for like a year and now she's with some other Black guy. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it's going to be like in the next movie, I think it's going to be a complete joke where Hobie's going to be like, what?
Yeah, I like how Miles also, like, upon meeting Hobie's like, okay, he is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, a good old line where it's just like, man, you always look, you were cool underneath the mask too? Man, I was cool the whole time. I thought it was so great. I was like, what? Like,
I just loved how Hobie was like the master instigator of this whole movie.
Dude,
he could not stop just like instigating every
during the interrogation scene, which like, well, during like the climax, like the third act, when he was just like, he's like, oh man, like he's like, Miles, you can't do it. He's like, you should do it, like because he's very like anti like establishment and just like he wants to see anarchy. I love that, and they stayed true to it. I thought it was really fun.
Favorite line of all. Yeah, favorite line of all in the movie, crapping on the establishment. I salute to that.
I salute you. Dude, man, like Daniel Kaluuya was having so much fun. He was eating, and you could feel it in his performance, man. It was so fun. I would love a movie just with either of these Spider-Man, with Spider-Man India and Spider-Punk. I want to see, because again, especially with the recent Spider-Punk series, as well as like some of the stuff with like Edge of Spider-Verse in the comics, like there's a Punk Hulk. There's a Punk Daredevil. There's a Punk Riri Williams. There's a Punk Miss Marvel. I want to see more of those characters. Like, I would love to see more of these characters in this style.
Give me Captain Anarchy, please.
Captain Anarchy, dude. Like, come on. There's potential here, and I feel like, listen, if they want to milk something, if Sony wants to milk something, milk this shit. I would love more Spider-Punk universe stuff. But yeah, the only gripe with me though is the only gripe I have it's more of a nitpick. This is how I know I have attention problems, because even though I love the fact that his colors shifted constantly and intentionally, it kept throwing me off, and I was getting like scatterbrained a lot, because I was like, especially when he moves around really quick, I'm just like, whoa, okay, that's happening. I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but sometimes I felt that, as well as like the glitching effect in the movie, which was used a lot, kind of threw me off a lot, and it kept like distracting me. But that's the only nitpick I have really with Spider-Punk. But yeah, all right. So any more thoughts before we move on to the next two? Nada. All right. So we're gonna move on to I put these guys last because I felt like, they, even though like I thought they were really cool and I enjoyed them, that they were kind of more in the lower tier. Like they weren't really used. I wanted them to be used a little bit more, a lot more, because I feel like we didn't really see much of them. But again, it's more of a part one thing. But yeah, P.D.B. Parker, who's Spider-Man, and Spider-Woman Jess Drew, played by Jake Johnson and Issa Rae. Yeah, like listen, I loved P.D.B. Parker in the last one. I thought he complimented Miles so well, as well, being like Miles' mentor figure. Trying to teach him to be Spider-Man, as well as Miles on the other side lifting him up as just a person, because he was the down bad Spider-Man. But yeah, no, I mean, I like him a lot in this, and I also love the fact that he's a dad now and he's married to MJ, and they have a little Mayday Parker. And people who don't know this, I love Mayday Parker in the comics. I love Spider-Girl a lot.
Marvel editorial isn't in shambles seeing this poster.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I thought, even though he's not in it much, I do like his interactions with Miguel O'Hara, on how Miguel is constantly annoyed by this man. I think it's very funny. And the fact that, he's dealing with, raising a little baby spider person is very funny. And just him in the bathrobe in the Bjorn and taking her on taking her to work, which again, very irresponsible. I don't think that's a Peter Parker thing to do, but I don't care because it was adorable. And I think that touched my heart the most is the fact that he reveals that, due to the events of his journey with Miles in the first movie, the reason why Mayday exists is because Miles changed Peter B. Parker as a person, and he's the reason why. Without Miles, he is his life still would have been a wreck. And I love the fact that that's how important that how he views in Miles as how he views Miles' importance in this in how important Miles is to him and to the universe. That I thought that was very touching, very sweet. But again, I wanted more. I wanted more of him. But again, maybe we'll probably see that more in part 2. So that's how I'm gonna start it off. So what do y'all think of Peter B. Parker?
Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier. He's underutilized in this movie, but again, I think it's just because it's a part 1, and half of these characters are introduced in the third act. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Peter specifically is introduced right at the end when they're we're in the Spider Society. There's Peter, and then Miles turns, and then it's over. And Peter, all he has is one good kind of scene with Miles where he's trying to explain to him about how the trauma that he's felt has led to good things like meeting Miles and having his kid. But yeah, I think that he was underutilized. I want to see more of him. I'm sure I'll see more of him in the next one. And yeah, Jessica Drew, just like she was in the comics, really annoying and kind of a dick. So nothing. It was a perfect adaptation there.
Wow.
Because are you gonna say she isn't a hard ass like that in the comics?
No, she is. She is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why I thought it was kind of perfect because she is a hard ass in the comics, so it makes sense she's kind of an annoying hard ass here. But not much to say because they weren't really in it. But I liked it.
I did like Jess Drew a lot. I'm not really a Spider-Woman fan, but I mean I did kind of like her All in All Different series where it's revealed that she's pregnant and gets a really cool redesign, which is based off of this version. I wanted more backstory. I mean, we just all we know that she's a spider person. She's the second in command along with Miguel, and she has her views on how a spider person should be, but also she is not really 100% with the Miguel's methods and goals in the Spider Society. And that was pretty much it. But I wanted to see a little bit more of a little preview of what her world looks like, and her relationship, a preview of her relationships, and who's the baby daddy. I want to know. It's just, but yeah. I mean, and I thought Issa Rae did a good job, and I was worried because it's a typical comedy actor thing where because Issa Rae, people don't know, is known for Insecure, which is a really good show on HBO. I thought it was just gonna be we got Issa Rae to be a spider person. Yeah, just do the Issa Rae thing, that's all you need to do for this movie. But no, she wasn't just Issa Raeing it up. She was actually trying to give not just a funny and a charismatic performance, but a meaningful one, and I thought that was really nice. And I thought she did good, but again, wanted a little more from her.
Yeah, I get a feeling that she's going to be more big player in part 2 because we really didn't see too much of her there, but there was enough there to set up that there is something we don't know about her.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and we'll probably reveal that in the next one. What if the baby daddy's freaking Harry Osborn? That'd be kind of wild.
Oh, fuck off!
Oh no!
How are you gonna call back to one of the worst Spider-Man stories?
I know, right? It's kind of wild.
Beyond the Spider-Verse is one big Sins Past adaptation. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you for letting me know that that's happening. I'll be sure to kill myself in the next couple of minutes.
Around. I'm playing. But
yeah. Harry. I was what did Harry do?
Harry.
But yeah, any other thoughts on Peter B. Parker or Jessica Drew?
I mean, I think Jessica Drew is a good actress. I think she's 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 a good actress. I think she's
Not really much.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you guys pretty much said everything.
I don't think the writing team had as many thoughts as we've had today.
That's true.
Honestly,
that's true. All right, I guess last character thing. I mean, it's kind of brief, and we can just do this briefly. But the last character thing we'll talk about, just basically, just in general, just the concept of the Spider Society. I thought this was really cool and like really fun, and the fact that like Miguel, again from what we saw from the post-credit scene in the last Spider-Verse movie, set up this multiversal Peace Corps of like the best Spider-Man in the multiverse, aka a bunch of fucking references and color swaps that they just made, and I thought it was really really fun, and just like it was just a bunch of Spider-Man, just being Spider-Man, and it was fun, it was cool, but which also led to a lot of Easter eggs and various Spider-Man that showed up. And I want to just highlight these the ones that I that caught my eye, of course. But obviously there's a bunch, and we can obviously y'all can pitch in and fill some gaps on which ones that you thought were really cool. But for me, was seeing the Insomniac Spider-Man showing up from the PS4 game, and the fact that Yuri Lowenthal voiced it too and had lines. I was like, yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was shocked that they had lines for some of these ones.
Exactly. I thought it was like, yo, it's my boy. Because hot take, like, I would say like I consider Spider-Man PS4 to be one of the best Spider-Man movies. Also, one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made as well. And the fact that like I really love that version of Spider-Man. I love Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker, and just I also love this. This is one of my favorite Spider-Man costumes. Is that redesign they did. So it was very creative, but also very traditional in terms of the aspects that they keep up with the character. But he had some lines in here. That was really fun, and it's like, it made me laugh. Also, I don't know if y'all caught it. There's a little detail in the beginning where Miles is trying to meet up with his parents at the guidance counselor, and you see Genki not only stealing his Jordans, but he's playing a little video game there. And if you notice, he's playing Spider-Man PS4, and it's like, what the hell?
Actually, someone pointed out he's playing Spider-Man PS5.
He is.
An early copy.
Yeah.
Is he actually?
Yeah, in the credits, it was credited as Spider-Man 2.
Really? Wait, was it like just footage that they just like rotoscoped over to make it look like it was from that style, like that from footage that we saw recently, or was it footage?
No, it was Spider-Man 2 footage apparently.
Oh wow. Okay. I meant, was it from like the demo that we saw, or was it?
No,
like,
that was like him fighting on like.
But it's also like
one of those like rooftop
180p. So.
Yeah, true. It looked like a rooftop fight, and I saw like the arms.
It looked like one of those like Taskmaster challenges where you have to go beat like half those guys up on the roof and get the. You know what I mean?
That's kind of slick too. Wow. Good on you, Sony. Sony, you're not missing, man. It's like y'all used to be shit. No,
well, I mean, they did miss only a year ago with Morbius. Like, let's be real.
Oh wait, hold on. Oof, right.
They have it. They miss occasionally.
Just wait till that Craven movie comes out, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, everyone's saying Sony should get the rights to Spider-Man, and I guarantee when Craven comes out, they're immediately gonna be like,
But all right. So what else? Josh Keaton coming back, reprising his role as the Spectacular Spider-Man. I loved it. Yeah. And I was like,
he got a whole line.
He had a whole. No, he had two lines actually.
I love Spectacular Spider-Man. I did think he looked like weirdly proportioned because he was a cartoon compared to everyone else.
I honestly just thought they just like kept him just 2D. But
well, yeah, and they also like he was proportioned as like high school Peter, which made sense because like I think the rest of them were like 26-year-old / adult Peter, and he was he was one of the only ones who was still high school Peter.
And he was like also like oddly really short.
I think that's just part of the like transition to 3D. But
I mean, like Mikey, who knew 15-year-olds were short?
No, but he was like short. Like
he's a small Jewish child from Queens. Mikey, you think you're built tall over there? Come on,
that's fair. Also, Spider Bite. I thought who's voiced by Amanda Stenberg. I thought she was really cool. I like the character a lot. I mean, I remember she was in the Spider-Verse comics, but I like it's a lot different in there. But I love the redesign, the whole tech aspect, the fact that like she's actually just a solid projection, and that she's just chilling in her home universe. I thought that was really cool. and like her involving her, how she's kind of like one of the big lead scientists of the Spider Side. That was really cool.
I think we need one or two more character lines from her if she's going to be a player in the next movie, since she's at Miles' team at the end.
I think, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it was very funny how her like VR thing was very Ultimate Mysterio. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she's on VR in another universe, and I was like, that's what they did for Ultimate Mysterio in the first Spider-Man crossover.
Yeah.
With Miles and Peter, they're like, oh, the Ultimate Mysterio is actually 616 Mysterio that just uses VR to do crime in another universe for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't realize that.
I'm sorry. I thought you were the Miles comic fan. I thought you would have pointed that out too.
I like Spider-Man, but like I always forget about it all the time, especially the fact that like Mysterio was involved. But yeah, what else? Web Slinger. I thought Web Slinger was really funny. The fact that like his horse also could like crawl on walls and stuff too, and his gun shot out webs. That was really hilarious. Spider-Man Unlimited showing up. That was awesome. As well as Metro Boomin's character having that one
Metro
line.
Boomin Spider-Man.
Hilarious. Yeah, I mean, listen, man. Does he have a career as a voice actor? Maybe. Cause
he actually didn't. Yeah, he didn't sound too scuffed.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
Yeah, I thought he like actually like that one line delivery that was like, yeah, he has some good delivery there. It was pretty funny. Like I remember my theater laughed out loud when he said that. So, but yeah, what else? I think I have another slide. This and the next three. These are gonna be blink and you miss it, but I thought Spider UK I thought was really cool. Who was the Malala Windsor version? I thought that was really cool design. I don't have it on here, but I thought it was a really cool design. I liked it a lot. And she also had like a voice line or two. Also, I was a little disappointed, but like you can kind of it's a blink and you'll miss it, but you can kind of do see Spider-Man in here.
Do you really?
You do.
I heard he was in here. I didn't catch him though.
Are you fucking with me right now, Mike?
Yeah, I'm being serious. Like you do. I for some reason I caught him, but like a lot of people kind of didn't, and it was just like, yeah, like you see like the little gauntlet and like is the suit design, and yeah, he's there. A little Spider-Man. Spider-Man is also in here, but it's very blink and you miss it. But I somehow caught it. So.
Speaking of blink and you miss it, shout out to Penny Parker for finally getting her Eva unit.
Yeah.
Granted, they're coming back, obviously, but I really like Penny Parker in the last one, and as well as Noir and Spider-Ham. So I was expecting like a little bit more of them, but I was happy to see at least Penny Parker. At the intervention. So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it in terms of the Spider Society. I mean, any other ones that y'all want to mention? There's a ton, obviously. I mean, you can just spitball them out. I know that like Bombastic Bagman, at least like this version of it, because I couldn't use the Fantastic Four. Pajamas was in here. Manga vs. Spider-Man was in here.
I will say, we talked about this. Kind of a shock that they had Andrew and Toby, but no Tom Holland. And that's why I was like, I think Tom Holland's going to be a character in the next one who actually, like, does shit for the plot beyond just, like, oh, look, it's Tom Holland. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the most we got was that reference.
I feel like that would be too distracting.
No, I think they're gonna animate Tom Holland is what I was thinking. Because I don't think they're gonna do actual live action Tom Holland, and you know what I mean. But they're gonna have like.
I just mean like I don't want his character to take away. If he's like a 1 or 2 line cameo, I'm okay with that. But I don't want him to be like a character, you know.
Well, I got some bad news for you. So sounds like you're fucked. Because they said that I think they've hinted that Tom Holland's actually gonna be like doing shit in like one of them.
Yeah, but I mean we'll see, but. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know if anyone else has any more they want to mention. I'm trying to remember. I saw Spinneret in there once. I was like, whoa, Spinneret, that's cool. From the Renew Val's comic. Lady Spider, I think her name is. The one that's like steampunk one, I think. Yeah.
This is the part where Mikey goes down the entire wiki of Spider characters.
No way, there's too many. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot.
Cyborg Spider-Man.
Cyborg Spider-Man was in there?
Cyborg Spider-Man was the big one with the gun. They redesigned him.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Gingerbread him. It's Cyborg Spider-Woman in this one.
Cyborg Spider-Woman?
Wow.
I couldn't even see that beyond all the mechanics in there. They were moving so quick, I didn't see shit.
Yeah, I didn't see.
Hold the hell on. Hold on. What? No way. Is that Rob? Is that Rob up here? Feel like there was a zillion Spider-Man and women in that movie. It was such an amazing movie. Yes, it was. Yo, freaking Rob from Comics Explained is in here. What the fuck?
Blowing up.
Yo, we out here. Yo, what's good, Rob? Appreciate it, fam. Big fans, obviously. Thanks for joining us. And I mean, you've probably seen the movie already, and you probably had a video on your own channel. So yeah, well, tell people who don't know Rob, which is like, weird, but watch Rob stuff. Great, of course.
You said people who don't know Rob like that exists.
Yeah.
If they're watching us, I think they know who Rob is.
Oh man, we appreciate it a lot. It means a lot. We're going up there, man. Let's go. Okay.
I'm getting so hyped. Talk about the movie.
Yeah, we're
Blowing it.
All right, so, but most importantly, I mean, so there's a few cameos. I mean, Fletcher mentioned one of them already, which was that obviously that Peggy was in this, but also, I want to get emotional because like this Seamus knows what I'm going at, because I'm just like my jaw dropped when I saw my boy in here, but when I saw my boy Childish Gambino as
oh my god, dude.
as a Prowler, bro.
I can't believe he gave me this dude.
He's crazy.
Oh my lord! I was like, and he was like, "Come on, guys, it's not polite to stare." I was like, "What the fuck?" Yo, like, and here's the thing, right? Like, it's obviously like from Spider-Man: Homecoming and how Aaron Davis was like, "Yeah, right, Rob, it's fucking awesome." Like, it was dope. But knowing how Aaron Davis was like in this in Homecoming, and teasing that Miles may exist, I've been waiting to see this man become the Prowler ever since he was webbed to that car door, waiting for that ice cream to melt. I was waiting for it. So the fact that we actually see him in costume, it's just like, yo, it was like, bro, it's finally Prowler, bro. And listen, it's because seeing, I saw this photo. I got this photo online, but like of him on set. But like he actually looks like he got the drip, fam.
Listen, they have to be using that suit again in live action, because that looks way too good for them to just be like, anyway, here we have to get a new one. The cameo one was just a quick cameo one, because that looks really, really good.
Yeah, man.
I like this big ass metal claw too. Like they actually just did it, which looked really cool. I don't know. It was just it was like the most shocking thing to see in that movie, and also probably the least shocking thing, because I was like, oh, okay, yeah, Aaron Davis shows up in the movie. Like, if you said that to me, I'd be like, all right,
Yeah, man.
Makes sense.
It's sick as hell. Tony, as in a fellow Miles head, what do you think of our boy Childish Gambino being Prowler?
I honestly thought, I really wanted to see Childish Gambino as in the Prowler suit, because we only got to see of him in his regular clothes and stuff. So I really like how they gave him this bit, made him gave him the Prowler suit, and they gave him the claw, they gave him the little claw and stuff. It was actually I actually really liked it to see him actually be see him as the Prowler, not just Aaron Davis. That's all I can kind of say. Since it was just a character, since it was just a cameo. So.
All right, we got a comment. So Rob is asking, will you all going to be at Dallas Fan Expo? Here's the thing, Rob. We're nowhere near Texas.
Put up BlurredCon in DC, a little promo for Mikey there.
Oh yeah, if you want to come to BlurredCon at DC, that's where I'm going to be at.
I'll go to Dallas.
Yeah.
I've never been, but let's go.
Anything for the fans.
Or if you're gonna be at New York Comic Con, I know Seamus is going to that. I don't think I'll be able to make it this year. But word. All right, so here's the thing, right? So I don't know any other cameos and stuff, because I know I heard Doc Ock in there, and J. Jonah Jameson was in there, and it was a lot. It was too much. I don't know. It was a lot going on. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just move on to the next part. And here's the thing, right? So I've dedicated a segment just to the third act of the film because I think it's incredible, like the way they end the movie. And this is where I'm going to change the music to more of the Miguel version, just because it's gonna get a little dark. So real quick. So let me just go back on my slides for a second. So I want to talk about the whole bomb drop is the fact that, when they go involving the Canon event stuff and how that and that's where like a lot of the Spider-Man's like focused like concept stuff is talked about here. And we kind of went on it a little bit briefly. Rob, July 7th, that's July 7th through the 9th is BlurredCon. I'm in your Discord. I'll drop a link in the Discord.
I'm in your Discord. Just check there.
We got to have a crossover of the century here.
That's true, yeah. But yeah, the whole like canon events and stuff. We talked about it briefly, like how the whole big reveal is that like there are central moments that are that are connected through like the comics, the movies, etc. That kind of motivate Spider-Man to be who he is, which they mentioned Uncle Ben's death, as well. At least the thing that was interesting was the fact that like when they referenced Amazing Spider-Man number 90, and how Captain Stacy's death is also that kind of like second canonical event that has to happen that changes Peter Parker. And the whole what were y'all reactions when you figured out like the whole Captain angle that was involved here, and the fact that every Spider-Man had to have a captain, not just a Captain Stacy, but just a captain that they interact with die. Over here you see Spectacular Spider-Man's George Stacy here, and this movie see our boy Andrew Garfield with his Captain Stacy over here in Amazing Spider-Man 1, and just then that reveal that Miles' dad is becoming captain in this movie. So, and the whole twist was that they actually got Miles here to stop him from saving his father, and it's just like, and that's when Miles was like, nah, fam, that ain't me.
They were so fucked up.
Yeah.
I love it. They're like, yeah, Miles, you're just gonna have to sit there and watch your dad die, and he's like, the fuck I am. It was just so good to see him be like everyone else was completely bought in. They were all completely like, yeah, Miles, I'm sorry, and Miles is like, Are you serious? You're gonna look me in the eye and be like, yeah, you're gonna have to stand there and watch, or else your universe is gonna get torn apart.
I do think it's interesting and new, the Captain angle, because Miles already had his Uncle Ben moment, I feel like the Captain angle is like just a little extra trauma, spice things up on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
But Rebecca, it's gonna develop him more as a Spider-Man. Twice the trauma.
Yeah, he's gonna have to go through Captain Stacy's death, then Harry's death, then he's gonna have to do his own one more day. He's gonna do his own Sins Pass. He's gonna do his own Clone Saga, and then he'll be just as shit as Peter is right now.
Oh man!
And then he can be called Spider-Man.
But yeah, I thought this was a really cool angle to take, and it's just like I also like acknowledge as well because like Gwen referenced it previously is that sometimes Gwen and Peter they live happily ever after, but most times they don't really ends up becoming worse, referencing her death. So I figure like would you count like the death of Gwen Stacy as like I guess a canon event as well?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're all canon events, but like this was like the first major canon event that happened in Amazing Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like George Stacy was like one of the first major deaths after Uncle Ben, so I think it makes sense to just start with, hey, George Stacy's coming up, and then they're gonna be like, you know what I mean? Oh, Gwen's coming right after too. By the way, see ya.
Yeah,
it'd be funny, but I don't think they're gonna do Gwen because like. Gwen's done a lot, and Spider-Gwen's in this movie, and then it would make just like a not a good subplot to be like, oh, Spider-Gwen might die and Miles has to save her, and you're like, didn't we? I feel like that's been done to death enough, even though it's only been done once in live action. That it's just like they'd prefer to do their own thing and just finish up this story than like start being like, Now we're getting into Gwen Stacy. Now we're getting into Harry Osborn, and then we're doing the death of Jean DeWolf. And then you're gonna be like, all right, where are we? Dude? What the fuck are we doing with this?
Oh man. But I don't know. I did like this angle and the fact that like Miles, we touched on it earlier, but Miles is, he's different. He doesn't want to go the same route that others. He doesn't feel like that's necessary. And as well as like when he's in Mumbai, and that's when Miguel explains like, you're the reason why that like the world started shifting on itself is because you saved basically like Pvitar's Captain Stacey, and like that's the thing, like those events need to happen to keep the universe intact. But like Miles is like, but like I could be the exception though. Come on now.
Yeah, I can be that one exception. Just let.
And then Rob is like, if I can make it, we should all meet up. Yes, we should.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen. But I don't really have much to say on like this twist. I thought it was really interesting, the fact that like it's kind of connecting like the animated stuff, the live action stuff. Like it was due to like these central events that kind of have to happen to a Spider-Man, and how that's gonna Miles gonna kind of be that different, go a different route. And I was kind of right by going that different route when we discover what happens with Gwen later on too. And
that's why I just really liked Miles' whole thing about how like as soon as Miguel was like, you fucked up, Miles, you saved someone, and right then was when Miles was like, what do you mean? And they're like, yeah, you have to protect the canon. It can't be. You're gonna ruin a Spider-Man if you don't do that. And Miles is like, oh, fuck you, man. Save the union, not me, dude. No way.
It's hilarious. It's crazy, bro. It's nuts. But yeah, okay. I want to kind of just tie it into like the second reveal. During while Miles is getting chased, and the whole reveal, they're like, so Miguel kind of drops on Miles like, yo, so technically, bro, like you were never supposed to be Spider-Man. Like that spider that showed up was taken from another Earth, in the first one, and it's supposed to bite their version of Peter Parker, but instead went to you. And so Miles is revealed to be the first time anomaly, and or at least how Miguel perceives it. And yeah, man, I was like, bruh, that makes sense. Like that comes to my mind, because like I originally thought they were gonna go more the comic route with the spider and be like, it's a genetically altered one, and like the 42 is just like the numeral designation of like this is the batch of spider that like survived, and that's the one that escaped. But no, it's a dumb numeral designation, but like this is the Earth it comes from. And the fact that we saw it glitch in the first movie, I just thought it was an aesthetic thing. I didn't realize it was that significant. But seeing all these other Spider-Man glitch throughout the course of the movie, it's like, no, like it's from another universe, and it bit Miles. And turns out that wasn't supposed to be the case. I was like, like, wow. Like I was like, the way that they planned that and set that up, I was like, since like the first one, they had an idea of like that's the route we're gonna take with this. I thought that was awesome. Like, I was like, that was really well done. So, what are your thoughts on this twist, guys?
It was I think it was an even better twist than the bagel being important. Like, it was an even better twist than me. Like it was one of those times where I was like, this is such a good idea. I'm surprised it hasn't been done in the comics. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like normally you'd be like, oh, they're just taken from the comic or whatever. But this was the first time I was like, wow. How did they never do this kind of thing before, where they were like, oh yeah, Miles was not supposed to be Spider-Man. His spider is actually trans-dimensional, and that's why he has different powers than Peter. You know what I mean? It feels like kind of like a really easy explanation, but I don't know. I just thought it got me. It was the most hype part of the movie, and it sucks that it was at the end. It was like right as I was done, they were like, oh, by the way, here's some of the most hype information you're going to be seeing this year.
Yeah. Real quick, I think Musa showed up. Shout out to Musa. He's asking how y'all feel about Earth 13122, aka Lego Dimension, because Lego Spidey Solos, Galactus, Doom, Kang, and Thanos. Oh, Musa.
Yeah. Lego Spider-Man is the best.
Would be too powerful.
He's the best. He's their best soldier. That's what they said.
Yeah, Miguel did confirm that. So, yeah, but Tony, Rebecca, you want to chime in on what y'all thought on this little twist?
Are we getting into the like very end twist with this?
Oh, not yet. No, just the spider.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting angle. I don't want to call it a retcon because it does seem like they did set it up a little bit, but we don't get any hints of this really in the first movie, and I think it's really interesting the different ways they could go with it.
Definitely. Tony, what do you think?
I thought it was an interesting little plot device that they set up for this one. Especially in when in the first movie when Miles is spray painting, you can see the spider coming down and glitching a bit, and I thought like, at first I didn't think of it. I was like, it was probably just like another I thought it was just like another design thing they're going with, but no. When like Miles gets sent to like this other universe and they realize that's the wrong spot, that's the spider from the other dimension, I go like, oh, now I see what's going on. This was a really nice plot development. So I thought it was a little nice way of setting it up. So I thought it was cool.
For sure.
Yeah, if we're talking about that, I noticed when he was going back, it said not 6'10", but it didn't click to me until they actually do the next plot twist that something was wrong.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, they were slick with it too. They were slick with it. And
I saw the group of friends I saw it with, me and my brother, we both were like, oh, that says 42. Interesting. I wonder if he's actually gonna like go there. And then my friends it didn't register with them. It didn't. I don't think one of them said it didn't register until Gwen was outside the window, and the other one was like, it didn't register with me until after the review. I was like, dude, you are slow.
Yeah, especially like when he transitions into like when he goes to the portal. It didn't hit for me until they did a good job of like setting it up where like. You make as like a movie, as like an audience member, be like, oh, hey, Miles is gonna go back home. He's gonna, it's gonna have a happy ending. But then, like when he goes into what we assume is Earth 1610, the way they colored it, it was a lot darker, grungier. It looked the same. It's the same layout as the city from 1610, but like a little dark and grungier. So I was like, yeah, like you can tell, like maybe something is wrong here. Like that's what I had in the back of my mind, what Rob is saying as well is like, I wonder if there was ever a Peter in Earth 42. Here's the thing, because I remember people saying this online. Some people think that like, I don't know if people are going to get twisted or not, but some people are thinking that, I thought when I was watching, it was like that spider was meant to bite the Peter from Earth 42. But people also are saying that like, no, that spider was supposed to bite Miles from Earth 42.
So here's in the spots explanation of Miles bringing the spider over to the or of the spider coming over to the other universe, you see the spider about to bite the other Miles. So that was the spider that's supposed to bite the other Miles. So you assume that there is another Peter in that universe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they do show that the spider was the spider that was gonna bite Miles and not like the one that was gonna bite Peter that got sent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like to think that because the spider didn't bite Miles, instead of Miles being at the Collider fight, it was Miles' dad who was at the Collider fight, and both him and Spider-Man got killed by Kingpin and Green Goblin. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that would be more interesting. You know what I mean? Because Miles then has no reason to go there.
So Seamus Rob's fucking with it. He's fucking with his theory.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool to be like, oh, that's how his dad died, is fighting alongside Spider-Man. Like he did in the game.
That's true.
And I think that would be really cool to just be like, and that's why Miles hates Spider-Man so much, and the fact that, like, you know what I mean? The fact that another him is Spider-Man, that he'd be like, no, fuck you, man. Spider-Man got my dad.
Well, I think how they're going with it, and again, this is, I guess, a theory. I think Miles is supposed to be that universe's retroactive Spider-Man. I think he's going to be the Spider-Man for both universes, in a sense, you know?
That'd be cool. Spider-Man having to be Spider-Man in two universes.
And Rob saying that, like, he said he figured it out as soon as Miles' mom didn't know who was Spider-Man. That's kind of
Yeah.
when I think most of us kind of, I think everyone figured out at that point. I was like, ooh, okay, whoa.
Oh my god, did you see, there's this one TikTok I saw today where as soon as Miles does the reveal of I'm Spider-Man, this one dude in the audience goes, he's black? It's the funniest TikTok I've ever seen.
All right, well, I don't know. Anyone else? Okay, well, we're gonna move on to like the big
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
now.
we've already
So,
kind of like talked about it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
no, yeah, we'll just move on for a little bit. But okay, yeah, I'm gonna turn the music off because like I got to build suspense up for this. so basically, at the point of the movie, like towards the end, when we talk about when he's having a talk with his mom and is again trying to reveal that like he is Spider-Man. It's a very heartfelt moment, and then that's when you realize like she's saying who's Spider-Man, and you're like, oh shit, and especially like the way the shot backs out, like you start seeing the photos just of him and his mom, and there's no Jeff there, and you're just like, whoa, like what's going on, like that's kind of wild. And then we see Uncle Aaron come back, and you're just like, "Whoa, like you're dead."
Mahershala Ali's back.
First off, I gotta go on this. No, we only refer to Mahershala as
Big Hirsch,
award-winning actor Mahershala Big Hirsch Ali. Okay, Robert saying something. Here's a question: since the Spider-Man from each universe has to lose their Uncle Ben, and Miles has to lose his dad, since Earth 42 Miles already lost his dad, does his 1610 dad have to die?
I kind of like where he's going with this. I don't think so. It cancels out. I think.
Yeah.
I think it cancels. I think it would be funny if they were like, "No, you still gotta die. Uncle Aaron has to die. Your mom Rio has to die. Who's your best friend Genki? He has to die." And then you can become an actual Spider-Man. and like Prowler Miles is like, what the fuck?
Hilarious. but yeah, so we see Uncle Aaron, and they talk about like, hey, like, you know, what do you do to your hair? That's when I was like, oh, wait, what the fuck? Like, what do you do to your hair? I was like, that, whoa, okay. And then they're on the rooftop talking about, yeah, we gotta do our next gig, son. Like, we gotta get it going. And then Miles gets knocked out, and you're just like, oh fuck, okay, what's going on here? And so this is where we get the reveal, because obviously this is an Earth without a Spider-Man, and that's why it's so dark and grungy and horrible. And you know, Miles is basically tied up on the beanbag, which I like. That's kind of an homage to what happened in the first movie when he tied up Peter B. Parker. That was really cool. And he's talking, Uncle Aaron, like this, he's going on the whole spiel of like who he is. Now he got bit by a spider, and like how he was a prowler. And then Uncle Aaron like punches the beanbag, and I thought he fucking killed him for a second. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I thought so too.
I was like, whoa, like what was just, like you just end credits, like what? All right, but and then Uncle Aaron looks at him with that deep ass Riz voice, and then just looks at him and is just like, I'm not the prowler though. And this is where we get the reveal, and I'm putting the music back on. This is where we get the reveal that, oh, Lord, I'm sorry, I'm still in shock. I'm like, my jaw dropped when I saw this. I was like, what the dude? We get the reveal of Miles G. Morales from Earth 42, aka Prowler. I lost my mind. I was like, yo, like, and listen, man, it's fucking Miles with the Nipsey braids, fam. Like, it's Nipsey Morales. Like, what? Like, it's just like, yo, the first off, the design of the costume, the drip is unreal. Like, I know the fact that, like, you know, like they dropped like these Spider-Verse shoes for the movie, like the new Air Force Ones. I want the Air Force Ones. I want the Prowler versions, fam. What? Like, it's just, it goes hard.
Wait, he wasn't wearing Jordans. He was wearing like a different brand. What was it?
He was wearing the Nike Scouts. I want the Nike Scouts Prowler versions, fam. That's
how you know he was evil. He was wearing the Nike Scouts.
Like. And the moment you see his debut, and then Rob, yeah, it was beautiful. The moment you see his debut, you see him just on the roof, you just see shadow, and you see the eyes Chloe. And I was telling Seamus about this, and like right after I watched the movie, like yo, they literally just took the Miles Morales 2020 costume from like the 2020 variant, and as well as it's in the game, and just turned that into a Prowler costume. Hard. I was like, what? And
I liked it. I liked that costume a lot.
and it is just like, and yeah, that's one of my favorite Spidey costumes, especially like Miles Morales costumes. It's phenomenal. But yeah, and we get that, you know, that reveal, like, yeah, it's like, you know, saying like, who are you? It's like, you know, I'm Miles Morales, and he's just like, yo, like talking about like he's asking about his dad because Aaron Davis is dead in this universe, as we said before, and he's just like, yo, like, you know, our dad's gonna die. He's like, no, your dad's gonna die, and he's like, you gotta let me go. It's like, well, why would I do that? And then that's how it ends, and it's just, yo, like, and here's the thing, and like, Rob, I'm happy you're here because this is why I was like, yo, I can't believe they're doing this. Yo, they're fixing Spider-Man 2. They're fixing it.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yo, it's just like, what, fam? Like, it's just, like, for people who don't know, Spider-Man 2 was an event that happened in Marvel a couple years ago, and it was a sequel to the Spider-Man event that Seamus mentioned previously. And the whole mystery behind it was the fact that because Miles, in the comics right now, is from the Ultimate Universe, just crossed over. And the idea is that, like, hey, like, if Miles is from Earth 1610 and is now on Earth 616, there has to be a 616 Miles somewhere. And pretty much the reveal was that he was just an adult who like worked for, he was a Kingpin stooge basically, like a second hand of the Kingpin. And like, it wasn't, I didn't even think it was that great. Yeah, they're based, but they're Lord and Chris Miller is like, yo, let's kind of redeem this and make it a little bit better. And this, I love this, like the fact they're gonna do Spider-Man 2, but with Miles Morales as Spider-Man and then Miles G. Morales as the Prowler. Let's go, fam. Like, it's just, it's well, yeah, dude. Like, Rob, like, I mean, that's how I interpret it. Like, yo, like, they're kind of just doing a Spider-Man 2 thing, and it's just like, I don't know. I thought it was really cool, but yeah, man. And also just want to note that the actor who's playing this version of Miles is Jarrell Jerome, who people don't know is from the show When They See Us, and is also in the movie Moonlight as well. Yeah,
he's and Herschel are back.
Yeah, man, like it's crazy. Yeah, but because I realized like when I heard him speak, I was like, he sounds a lot different. I wasn't sure if it was Shameik or not, but
yeah, I was like, is Shameik just using like a really low voice for this one? But no, because that was a little too different for a Shameik voice.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, whoa, but then I realized they're just doing the thing that they did with Spider-Man from Miles Universe, who's played by Chris Pine, and you know, Spider-Verse is and Peter B. Parker is voiced by Jake Johnson. They're playing off of that with Shameik Moore and Jarrell Jerome, and like I think that works really well. Like you can tell like Jarrell's doing kind of like he's trying to sound a little bit similar to how Shameik portrays Miles, but like he's doing more of the darker version, and I love that. I think it's really well done in that great performance. Yeah,
it feels like he's going for more of like an adult Miles, like one that had to grow up super quickly after his dad passed. You know what I mean? Who had to like kind of like Uncle Aaron was there, but I mean, just from his voice, it sounds like he was the one who had to carry the family.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. And wait, Rob's saying is like, you know, your story is bad when they make a whole movie to fix it. True.
Listen. Bendis knows what he did. Okay,
he knows he did. But I also, this is like just seeing like, especially like the bottom shot where you see them both face to face. It made me remember why I love Miles Morales as a character. That dichotomy he has with, you know, being, you know, influenced by the good cop role model that is Jefferson Davis, his father, as well as the criminal more darker side that is his uncle Aaron Davis, who is who considers to be a father figure. And like I kind of found it a little bit meta, where it's like, you know, especially in this context of the movie, where they're kind of showcasing, you know, like kind of that dichotomy that a lot of black kids or just kids or just people of color go through, where they kind of have to balance that those scales of like, you know, being portrayed as a good person or being raised either in circumstances of good versus bad circumstances. That was really well done. I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, I mean, that's why I like Miles in the comics, do that dichotomy. And that's kind of the way that I hope that they're gonna flesh that out in this. About like, yeah, this is because his dad died, Miles, out of circumstance, because all he had was Uncle Aaron, who he looked up to, goes down the criminal path, while Miles in Earth 1610, you know, even though he had Uncle Aaron, he had his dad, but like his dad being alive is the reason why Miles is, you know, the good person that he is. But also Uncle Aaron's death, it kind of gives him that motivator to being Spider-Man as well, which we kind of got in the last movie. So I love it. I was like, that's really well done. And yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's all I gotta say, man. I'm ready.
I can't believe they adapted El Tigre, the story of Manny Rivera.
That's true.
It's the same thing.
Oh,
A young Latino male struggles between his hero father and his villain relative.
Yeah, man. Wow.
I do think it's interesting too with Prowler Miles that like in the comics, in Miles' origin, Uncle Aaron is like trying to push him into crime, but here it seems like Miles is the one in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like Miles. This version of Miles seems to like, you know, wear the. I guess I love to say wear the pants, but yeah, he is the man of the family.
He wears the glove.
He wears the glove. I love the fact that he only has like this is just the one Prowler glove. I was like, that's so hard.
The Michael Jackson one glove goes hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, man. Listen, I mean, I gotta make some art. I gotta make some art ASAP.
I have to draw right now.
but yeah, no, I'm very looking forward to seeing, you know, how Miles is gonna get out of the situation, and would you guys be happy if like this version of Miles is like redeemed, or if he's just bad all the way through? I kind of don't mind him just being bad all the way through.
Yeah,
I would be okay with going either way.
Yeah, honestly, depending on how they do it, they could do either, and it would be like you would feel like the other choice doesn't make any sense, because that's how good of a writer I feel like this whole group is. But it's just so. It's so funny how they were like, we're doing Spider-Man 2, but like actually Spider-Man 2 and not the cop-out that Bendis did.
Yeah, and even Rob agrees, like, yeah, he thinks they can be pure villain. I think so. I think so. But yeah, what's up?
I was gonna say, it's gonna be interesting to see how they balance Prowler Miles, the Spot, and Miguel as the antagonist in the next movie. I'm really interested to see how they do that there.
And Spot.
Spot, the most important villain.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, moral of the story is, I love this setup. I love the concept. Love the drip. Love the Nipsey Hussle braids. Nike, make the Nike stash shoes a Prowler version to go with the new Air Force you are dropping for this movie. Please, I will buy them. I just realized I need Miles drip. I need some Prowler drip too. I would like some Rebecca, make me some Prowler drip.
I can do that.
Make me some Miles and Prowler drip. But yeah, all right, that's pretty much it. I mean, anyone else want to say on the ending, as well as like obviously the spider, that Gwen is assembling her own spider gang to help save Miles. Which is I think it's really awesome. So.
It was almost as if that's what they should have done at the start of the movie instead of trusting the random evil Spider-Man. Yeah. That's kind of a dick.
It's true. Karan's like, yeah, we all need that Miles drip. Yeah, we do. And then Musa's like, any spider people y'all want and beyond need Silk, Kane, Superior, and the goated from the 2003 animated series.
We need Patrick Harris. Yeah,
I want that too. That's my personal favorite. That's my first Spider-Man I ever watched as a kid.
I think Superior should actually play a role in the next movie, honestly, because like it'd be cool if there was like an evil Miles and an evil Peter in the same movie. And like evil Miles is like Miles choosing to be evil, but evil Peter, the only evil Peter is like one that's not even Peter. It's just some dude in Peter's body.
Actually, we're gonna like go on. So since Muda asked that question, we kind of can go on like brief theories, I guess. But I'm surprised that I thought I saw Kane, at least like the Scarlet Spider version of Kane, in the trailer, but I didn't see him here. Or maybe he was there, but I didn't notice.
I think
there's like
Kane,
a million of these dudes.
I did not see Kane at all. Because I would have been on it if I saw Kane. Come on. If he does, he's got to be in the next one, and he has to do the mark of Kane, or else he's not Kane.
Yeah, man. That's true. He also has to get the spider freaking talons that come out of his arms.
Yeah, the dumb fucking talons.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind if Silk was in here. I mean, I think Silk was cool. I like the design of Silk. There's a weird pick, but I want Ultimate Jessica Drew as well. So do I. I love Ultimate Jessica Drew.
I'm glad we're all on the same page of fiending for the best Jessica Drew.
Yeah, I mean. I listen. Love the Clone Saga of Ultimate Universe. Love Jessica Drew. Love her interaction with Miles in the comics, especially when they do the Young Ultimates thing. I love that. I think it's awesome. So yeah, have her be in there too. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of Spider-Man to choose from. And granted, like, there's not a lot in here too. I mean, I do. Rob is like, why? I mean, I don't know.
It's just like because I think she's like. I don't know. It's just cool. I like her a lot. I liked her character a lot in the Ultimate Universe just because it was just so fun to see. Like, it's just gender bent Peter, and everyone's really uncomfortable about it. Because like it'd be funny that Spider-Gwen makes sense that half the Peters are like, you know what I mean? But like it'd be funny if they were all thirsting after Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman, and then it turns out Jessica Drew's just a clone of Peter, and they all feel really weird.
Yeah, especially because, like, I was telling her, Maddie, in one of our chats, like the fact that like she's just like, you know, she has all of Peter's memories, so she feels kind of just conflicted with herself a lot, and it's just like it's interesting. I think it's very interesting. Yeah, what's up? Someone saying something. Soni, no one saying something. All right,
hearing voices.
I mean, I'm hearing things, man.
Voices are coming for him.
We haven't done a 2-hour podcast in a while. It's catching back up with him.
I'm just hearing Nipsey Morales in my head, man. It's just wild. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of Spider. I mean, what was one Spider-Man in there that I thought from the comics? I mean, well, I do want to see. Cause I could have sworn I saw Spider-Man in there. I want to see more of him. I want to see Leopardon. I want to see the Megazord.
Yeah, Pardon got to be in this shit.
Oh my god! Like I need to see that shit. I don't know. I mean, let's go on and on. I don't know. Also, shout out to Peter Prabhakar, aka Spider Buggy. Hilarious.
Peter Prabhakar was a good bit. That was a good one.
Also, the Spider-Man, the T-Rex one. I was like, that came out of nowhere. I was like, what the hell? Like that's awesome.
That was a thing. That's been I remember that.
Yeah,
but like, but yeah, I don't know, man. But in terms of theories from like a story perspective, I couldn't tell you where this is gonna go. Honestly, that's kind of the point. Like, I think that's kind of the point they're kind of establishing.
The only theory I have, and I hinted at this earlier, is that I think Miguel is like the Prowler to the other Miguel that he was mentioning.
Oh, you think that the Miguel that we see is like a slightly more like evil version of Miguel than the one that died?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That'd be interesting. I was thinking. So I think that the spider.
You just blew his mind. You just blew it.
Yeah.
I
think that it's like easy to know where the story goes, but not exactly easy to know where like at least. No, it's actually because like you know that the main Spider group with Spider-Gwen is going to be going through a bunch of other universes. You know what I mean? So that's where like you're going to get a bunch of different animated sequences where they're every other like scene they're in a new universe trying to figure out how to get to Miles because the bracelets that Spider-Punk built are like not exactly the same as Miguel's, so they don't exactly work as well. And also, they're probably going to do something where he's like, what do you mean? I said I don't like consistency. It's not going to take you where you want to go every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just going to be an excuse to get a bunch of cool different animated sequences from a bunch of different Spider Worlds. I think we got to see Christopher Daniel Barnes 90s Spider-Man in there at some point.
Shocker!
Yeah, they got to have him in there at least doing Shocker!
Get back here, Shocker!
Yeah.
Shocker!
I think Miles the whole time is going to be. It's actually going to be like a more character driven, and it's going to be about him with Prowler Miles and how that whole works and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I think it's pretty easy to know where it's going to go, but exactly how it's going to go down is very different. You know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, okay. Here's a theory that I heard online that I was like curious about. So that one scene where Miles is trying to learn that new power that he's doing, where he can absorb energy, and you see that Spider-Punk is like telling him how to, hey, next time use your palms more. There's a theory going around that like Hobie is actually a variant of Miles and is like maybe like implies like why he kind of knows a little tip about his powers, I guess, in a way.
I don't really like that theory.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's only one black man that's allowed to be Spider-Man. There's only one. You know this guy who's been established as being Spider-Punk? No, it's Miles again.
Oh man, but I don't know. Tony, you have any theories you want to spit out that you have in mind, or?
Sorry, I don't have any big.
Yeah, the movie could go anywhere.
Yeah, it can literally go anywhere. It's like it could go either way. I mean, like. As long as like a really logical theory, I can be like, okay, I can see it happening.
Yeah, but so Musa got a comment said, also I've seen this online. You think the Miguel from the post credit scene of Across the Spider-Verse is different than the one from this movie? He looked skinnier and was less of an ass.
Wait,
I don't think it's different.
I think he meant from the last one. I think he meant from
from the end scene of the first movie. I think it's just that they switched animation styles, and then that one was for like a quick little after credit scene, and then this one was like, okay, Miguel's going to be in the whole movie. We kind of actually have to design him how we want to instead of just throwing in at the end. Like
wait, unless Into the Spider-Verse Miguel was the good Miguel.
The Spider-Verse Miguel was
connecting dots.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else I want to say. I mean, I'm just gonna go in completely blind. Luckily for us, they filmed this movie They filmed part 1 and part 2 back to back, so production is already done. Like production is already done, I think. So now they're in post right now, and that's gonna come out like sometime next year. So I think we won't have to wait too long for it, right? Like
no, it's March 24th, 2024.
So
it's in 9 months.
That's relatively soon. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll move on real quick. I just want to talk about the reception of this movie real quick. So, right now, I think that it kind of like blew up the box office a little bit. I think it has like $120 million, I think domestically, and around 200 worldwide. So that's crazy. Which, again, that was a lot more. That was a lot better. I think that's triple the amount that it made for Into the Spider-Verse. So that's amazing. As well as I think the reviews so far, amongst like I'm gonna go on Rotten Tomatoes, even though I don't like to use Rotten Tomatoes that much, but fuck it, everyone else does, so we'll just use that. So right now it has a 96% critic score, as well as a 96% audience score. Oh, so the way it went up. We saw was at 95 for the critic score. So yeah, it's getting great reviews. It is, it's obviously going to be it's pretty much considered a financial success because they pretty much made above its budget already. So yeah, man, and yeah, I mean there is the reception for some people that I know have watched the film already, and like some reviews that I saw, like yeah, like a lot of people feel like this movie is just like. They did not like the fact that it was ended on a cliffhanger, and it kind of felt like like how come that didn't end on a cliffhanger? But like guys, they said it was a 2-part to begin with, so like come on. But I get it, like it's tough because after the Prowler drip, I mean we all be wanting more. Come on. So, but yeah, but overall this movie is pretty much so far it's from its debut it's a success, and hopefully that's gonna. And things like that, the fact that it ended on a cliffhanger, is going to get more people excited and to go check out the next one. So they did it intentionally, like from a storytelling perspective, from a marketing perspective. But yeah, I mean, yay! Everyone likes Spider-Verse. That's pretty much all I got to say here. Yeah. So I guess we'll just move on to now the good stuff. final thoughts and final verdict. So I'll start off with saying that I love this movie. Technically it's phenomenal. From a writing perspective, from a character development perspective, it's phenomenal. From the performances, it's phenomenal. I didn't expect them to be able to top themselves because I thought Into the Spider-Verse was well done, but they managed to just top themselves, but also set the bar for animation for the next 10 years, dude. Again, like we said earlier, I've seen stuff I've never seen before in animation from this movie. So, and I personally think this is one of the best. It's definitely one of the best animated movie I've ever seen. I think this, but personally for me, this is one of my favorite. This might be my favorite Spider-Man movie so far. And yeah, man, I mean, I love it. Actually, I'll even pose a question here because last when Into the Spider-Verse won Best Animated Feature, which is great, it deserved it obviously because no one was competing like Boss Baby. Come on, no one was competing with that. But I'll pose a question: do you think that this will be nominated for not only Best Animated Feature, but get any bigger nominations such as I honestly think this movie could maybe get Best Picture as a nomination.
I think this could.
I think it could maybe get Best Adapted. I don't know if elitist Hollywood voters are ready for an animated film to win Best Picture.
Yeah, and the only other couple that got nominated were both, I think it was Up and Toy Story.
Yeah, it's usually like Disney movies, but that's kind of why they created categories for animated because they didn't want Disney sneaking in on their real film awards.
But overall, I love it. I think it's phenomenal. And also, Moose is asking me, Mikey, as an artist, who was the best designed character outside of Hobie? Shit. I mean, that's hard because there's a lot of well designed characters in this movie. I would probably say for me, I think Spider-Man India. I thought his was very creative. I really liked it a lot. Very obviously taking aspects from Indian culture and Bollywood and combining that into a Spider-Man costume, and as well as the way he swings around. I just think it's awesome. But I also would say like Miles. Like I mean, it's simple. His costume is so simple but yet effective. And shout out to Sanford Green when we interviewed him because he worked on this movie. He also talked about the importance of silhouette and how that matters with character design. So it really implements well with that. So yeah, I would say Miles as well as Spider-Man India for me personally. But everyone like 2099, everyone's very well designed and very well thought out. So I think
maybe the only problem that I had is I don't like Miles's suit design too much.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't know why. I just like the original. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't like this one. I don't like the new one they had in the comics where he was like, you know what I mean, that like more pinkish red that he had with the coat. Yeah. I was just like, I feel like the original one that was in Ultimate is so just like it's perfect to me. But I don't get why they keep having to fucking change it every time he has a new appearance.
But yeah, I mean, overall though, that's how I feel. This movie for me gets a 20 out of 10 for me. I don't give a fuck. I'll break the goddamn scale. Yeah, 20 out of 10. I don't give a shit. But yeah, okay. Who's next? Who wants to say their piece?
20 out of 10. 20 out of 10. That's easy. I've seen it twice already. And both times I was like, it never dragged. I was never sitting there like, ooh, this is a little long. And I loved it every single time.
I didn't feel the time either.
It's definitely the best Spider-Man movie so far, and I think part 2 will probably be even better than that, which is really exciting to think about. It's just not only is it like completely storytelling wise incredible, but also visually it's the most impressive animated movie and maybe one of the most impressive movies I've seen in forever. It's just insane to me that they just kind of dropped a masterpiece out of nowhere and was like, hey guys, we're dropping maybe the greatest movie I ever see ya. And I find it very funny that people are calling this like one of the best animated films, one of the best visual films, and it's still a superhero movie. And I was like, this and Guardians 3 are really dispelling the idea that there's any kind of superhero fatigue.
Yeah, man.
Like, I think it's just bad movie fatigue. I think we just gotten a couple of stinkers beyond a few good ones in the past couple of years that like. But it was so good. This was so good.
Who's next? Who wants to go?
I'll go. This movie is incredible, as we keep saying. If you made it this far and haven't seen it, go see it. If you have seen it again. That being said, I'm critical by nature, so I don't give 10 out of 10s, but this is as close as I will give to it. It's a 9 out of 10, if not more.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Tony, lay it on us.
Yeah, I think I already posted about it on my Instagram, but since I'm kind of looking at it from like, from a critical eye, not like a fanboy eye. If it was a fanboy eye, I go like, 20 out of 10. But for like me, like if I'm looking at it critically, I'm going like an 8.5, 0.5 out of 10. But but like I said, I seen it on Saturday, and I'm definitely gonna see it again. I'll probably see it again on Sunday, this coming Sunday. So I would say like to everyone, if you haven't seen it, please go see this movie. This movie is actually pretty good. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Get out there and go see it. Get out there and go see it. Go purchase a ticket. I don't care. I don't care if it'll cost you like $15, $16. Just go see it. Yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth it.
Here's the thing, right? If I went with my cousin, who's like not really like he likes like comics and stuff and like superheroes like sometimes, but like he's not like very big on it. He loved this movie. So like even if you don't like Spider-Man or like don't really into like comic books or like superhero movies and like that, just watch it. Like you're gonna have a good old time, a great experience. So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much the gist. People we that gets the Indie Corner seal of approval. Watch this damn movie, please. And we're obviously gonna be looking forward to more news with the next one when that comes out in March of next year. So soon. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, people. I'll just do the outro. So thanks for everyone who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the love, all of the people that are watching all of our stuff. We put a lot of hard work and effort into what we do, and it means the world to us that you guys are actually like subscribing to our channel and checking out our stuff, and you care. So that's great. Rob, if you're still here, man, thank you so much for coming through. Like I don't even know how you found us, but like thank you for coming through and taking the time of enjoying our little podcast here. It really means a lot. You're one of the inspirations, so it means a lot that you're here with us. So
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Of course. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. Who was your favorite Spider-Man that showed up? What was your favorite cameo? What do you think's gonna happen in the next movie? Put it all in the comments. Also, thank you, Rebecca, Seamus, and Tony as well for doing very last minute, but I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, and it was a great conversation. Let's see. Also, let's go comments. No problem. It was awesome.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, man. But also, just real quick, just some quick plugs. Be sure to check out our series where we cover the comic book Deadly Class. We dropped episode 3, called During Volume 3, titled Snake Pit, yesterday, which was really fun. And there was a huge bomb drop that I told Rebecca not to read, and you get to see a live reaction to that. So there's a lot of fun with that. Also, check out a lot of the weekly recommendations I've been doing. Well, there's gonna be another one on Wednesday covering a book. I think I'll reveal it on the channel. Who cares? I was not really a surprise. But I'm doing a weekly recommendation on the book Middle West. That's written by Scotty Young with art by Jorge Corona. Cause I read that book recently and I loved it. So I'm gonna drop that YouTube short tomorrow. And yeah, I mean I don't really have anything else to plug. Yeah, check out the reactions. We did a Barbie reaction because Rebecca begged me to, and I said yes. And it's our most viewed video on the channel.
Girls just keep winning.
Yeah, so yeah, at 3.7K with the Barbie reaction. So yeah, check that out, as well as me and Chris Valera, who's another YouTuber friend of ours. Talk about the TMNT trailer that came out that we really dug. And yeah, that's pretty much it, people. Thanks again. We love you. We appreciate you. Check out more of the content in the future, and go watch Spider-Verse.
Watch it.
Get some Prowler drip. Get some Miles drip. And we'll catch y'all next time. All right. Get on safe and see you. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Yeah.